You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. We Rick flaring on us. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. Jet, we Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. It's apparent these girls staring. I'm Rick flaring, gold across my chest. I'm fresh to death. I'm Paul Bearing, not at all scary. When I open like Betty Wops, then find to these circles that's going in like a carry shot. Woo! I'm going in like a Mary Pop off that Mary crop at the top flow at the Marriott. So questioning me is like questioning you. See, we the best dressed, so come and get blessed with the crew. Not one but two, different ways to slaughter your crew. Committed tat across the chest, I guess she blessed with the truth. People want to see them checks, representation of proof. Living through my elders trying to resonate to the youth. But ain't nothing to get my flash on. Longevity is heavily embedded in my melanin. Layman terms, I last long. My grind repetitive, I'm smoother than real silk. Lyrical cash cow who can't cry over spilled milk. We in here. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. We Rick flaring on us. You flaring to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. This ain't no normal situation, this preparation with greatness. Industry full of fakeness is really up for the taking. See, life is what happened to you, more so how you take it. Don't get stripped of your knowledge and mentally leave you naked. I like to live otherwise. I'm sorry that I'm fresh to death. I put the polo and apologize. See, Black Sun, we ain't nothing like the mother guys. Quit to socialize, we organize, then we mobilize. Off the deep end like a scuba diver. And no confusion, just keep it pushing like Uber drivers. Woo! Business fresh just like a supervisor in a Gucci visor. Can't find a smoother rhymer. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. We Rick flaring on us. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us.
Yeah, DQ baby. Shout out that boy Nigga for that fire track. Hey, Black Sun, sun up. What's up, Vinny Vegas? What in Vegas? Yeah. Shout out Pharaoh's Kids, D-Phase, yeah, Bubba C, yeah, Rick flaring on him, Rick flaring on him, Rick flaring on him, Rick flaring, sun up, baby.
Hey, yo, Scotty, you going crazy for this one. We see what you're doing, we salute you. Hey, let's get it started. It's Backpack Capital One. What's in your wallet? Got a call from my man, A. Scott. I said I got it. Love that you highlighting all of these black colleges. Try to pay me for doing this. Look, bruh, if you don't get off my line with that foolishness, voice of the SWAC, pull up where you at. No cap if the Brody is speaking the soft facts. My advice, tune in to every show. Captain Petty, but we know that the sergeants are with the smoke. Speculate, just tell me what is we doing. Get into it, okay, look, I'ma say this and keep it moving. My boy Scotty, man, he offered the least. Black grad, paying college, I'm glad that he called me. Walk it, cause we all been taught that talk is cheap. Even primetime knows Scott for the HBCU streets.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Scotty. You already know what it is. Back with another one. Happy Tuesday. Shout out to Perry White. It's his birthday today. It is his birthday today. It is his birthday today. Hey, man, I hope you guys are having a wonderful Tuesday. I hope you guys are enjoying your lunches or at work or doing it however you're catching this show. When you're catching it, I hope you're enjoying it, right? Now, real quick, before I get into today's show, listen. Someday, I know there's some short people in the chat. Some days it sucks to be tall, and let me tell you why. Right? So my son has a pull-up bar on his door, right? You know, he trying to get a little weight, you know, trying to get a little muscle for football and stuff like that. And so I went in his room today, right? So I ducked and I got in. I'm straightening it up or whatever. I'm looking around, make sure, you know, ain't no trash, stuff like that. And I turn around and I totally forget the pull-up bar is there. And I mean, just back out. I mean, forehead. I felt like a sharp pain just went up my whole back. It's like my whole spine like compressed. It was, oh my God. I went straight to the floor. I was like, and I went to the floor and my wife was like, babe, you okay? And I'm like, yeah. I'm just on the floor like, you talking about painful? Jesus Christ. My neck was hurting. My back was hurting. I felt like I was 65 years old. Just everything just compressed. And I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah. That was my Tuesday. Don't know how your Tuesday was, but my Tuesday was very painful. So, and then you can't even get mad. Like, I can't even get mad at my son because I'm the one to put the bar, you know what I'm saying? I'm the one to put the pull-up bar up there, right? Because he ain't tall, but he tall enough. So it got to be like just enough for him to hang, but not tall enough that he can't reach it. So, oh, Jesus Christ, man. It is just absolutely ridiculous. Now, let's get into today's show. You already know what it is. Word on the street. And I've been doing a lot of these recently. Like, I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what it is. That is just stuff has just been coming my way. You know what I'm saying? Now, I do got some other news outside of the SWAC episode, but you know, it is what it is. Now tonight, make sure you tune in. We're talking Willie Simmons, talking FIU football with the Pause Up podcast. We're talking player retention at FIU. We're talking about expectations for 2025. All things FIU football tonight, 6 o'clock, 5 Central. Make sure you're there so we can be there together. Okay, together, my friends. All right, so just want to talk about that. Now,
What happened to that boy? What happened to that boy?
listen. This hurt my soul. This hurt my soul. So, I know last week listen, let me say this again. I call these segments word on the street because it's gossip, right? I tell y'all all the time, I don't break news. That's not what I do. If what I say comes to pass, that's cool. If what I say don't come to pass, it was gossip. So I'm in that in-between area, right? So, yeah. So but I give it to y'all how it comes to me, right? So, last week, I got a call from a very usually reliable source. He's like, oh, Scotty, Norfolk's done. It's a done deal. It's this, it's that. I said, okay, that's cool, right? So I'm excited. I am excited. And then somebody from Vic's camp reaches out to me and says, Scotty, that Norfolk situation ain't as promising as we once thought. There is a PWI school that has really pushed really hard to get Michael Vick. And Michael is he doesn't know if he really wants to step into coaching. So it's a lot of variables that have been transpiring, but what I will tell you is Norfolk is losing the battle. That Norfolk hype train, because I was driving that bandwagon, boy. I was driving it. I was getting ready. I was cleaning off my bus, you know, because I still got the Jackson State bus. I just took the decals off, you know what I'm saying? So I had to get me a new bus. I was putting the new decals on. You know, y'all remember like the first year I came into the space, I had my own Jackson State bandwagon bus. Had to take the decals off of that, you know what I'm saying? So I still had the bus. I just hadn't been using it for like a real bandwagon hard. You know, I had some FAMU stuff on it, but it was, you know, that FAMU was just, I'm rocking with FAMU. FAMU, I'm just rocking with it. It's not really a bandwagon thing, right? So, but I had to put new decals on it. And now that I'm not hearing that this Norfolk thing is coming apart, I'm really upset. I'm really upset. I'm really disappointed right now. So I just want to let y'all know that this word on the street is really hurting my heart because I just thought that Norfolk thing was done. I mean, like we was about to turn up. We was gonna be the Oregon of the East Coast, baby. Like it was gonna be like Vic 7 and 3757 everywhere, and now we're here. Now we're here. In the school that like the school that the guy told me that was coming after Vic. I'm like, why him, Vic? It's like one of those. It's like you got a you know what I'm saying? You got a baddie. You know what I'm saying? You got a baddie. Sorry, guys. Let me see. My wife sent me something. You got a baddie. You know what I'm saying? Like big booty, got all what you need. You know what I'm saying? Top, bottoms. She just ain't got the job. You know what I'm saying? She just got to get her mental right. You know what I'm saying? But you can work with her. You know what I'm saying? A little therapy here and there. You go to this skinny white woman, mayo in the mac and cheese. Oh, just weird stuff. Weird stuff, man. But hey, it's whatever makes you happy. Whatever makes you happy. So it's sad. It's sad. All right. But listen, before I get into my next topic, I felt like I needed somebody to be my soundboard and bounce this off of it. You guys will see them everywhere in HBCU space. The Jackson Insider. Please get out, my boy, Zoe Phillips. What's up, Zoe?
What's happening?
I like the helmet background. That's dope, man. Listen, you know, I don't like seeing that block everywhere, but that's pretty cool. I ain't gonna hold you. That's pretty fire. That's high level stuff right there. So was that a green screen? Was that a green screen?
No, actually, no, bro. Just a photo.
Oh,
I actually did both of these helmets.
That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. I ain't gonna fake on you. That's pretty dope. I ain't gonna lie to you. All right, so I want to talk about this word on the street. I think it's really important. Word on the street is that the ESPN and SWAC is no mas. It's no more. Now, I got the person that told me this is pretty reliable. I've pretty much like 95% of the stuff they've told me has come true. And they sent me this message. They said the SWAC commissioner told the council of presidents they are planning to leave ESPN. Maybe looking at starting their own SWAC network somewhere else or go with another broadcaster. This happened today, which was yesterday. So in your thoughts, Zoe, where does the SWAC go from here? And let me just say this. I do not believe that the SWAC initiated this. I believe this was coming down the pipe from ESPN, but it is what it is now. So where do you feel that they go from here?
Well, in all things in life, you know what I'm saying, it's an opportunity. You know, I think it's a pivotal point, you know what I'm saying, in this conference history. And, you know, being that even if ESPN, you know, decided that they, you know, initiated this whole thing about not want to sever the relationship, I still think that creates an opportunity, you know. And at this juncture, like, what do we do? I think it creates great opportunity for us to take what we perceive as what is a great product and elevate it to another level. Now, you know, what options are those? Because, you know, there's an old saying, give me your options, I'll give you your choices. I'm sorry to that, give me your choice, I'll give you your options. So the things are, you know, at this point in time, and we have good numbers, you know, you take those and you pitch those to different you know, outlets and do something radical. You know, it's an opportunity to do something different. For an example, you're familiar with the MAC conference doing games on Tuesdays. I'm not saying be that radical, but I'm saying you need to do something with, what I mean radical is maybe reach out to a network who was maybe even itching at the idea of hosting football games.
Yeah.
That otherwise, and for example, what about a channel like Oxygen, right? I'm just throwing something out there. You can have another channel. At this point, man, you leave no stone unturned. And, you know, we go about, you know, trying to maximize revenue at any point that we can. I saw also in the message about saying, you know, trying to create our own thing. Well, that's a broad statement, right? When we say create our own thing, what does that entail? What all does that look like? Are we simply going to sit here and just rely on YouTube streams now? I understand that's where things are going, but, You know, when we talk about having SWAC TV, and I'm saying similar to like what the SEC TV is, we're talking about year-round programming, not just football and basketball, but all the non-revenue generated sports. We're talking about track and field, soccer, bowling, all those sports, right? 24-hour programming is what I'm getting to. Also, some other shows, you know what I'm saying? Whether it could be, you know what I'm saying, your platform or other generated shows that the SWAC could create, you know what I'm saying, for each school. You can do a segment where Jack State have the show, Southern have the show, FAMU have the show. We're talking about 24/7 content, right, on his own channel. Then you're also talking about broadcasting your own, all those same non-revenue generating sports, baseball, you know what I'm saying, softball, women's basketball, all these sports. You know, now if you build that up, now you have something that you can actually sell to make more money. So it creates a great opportunity. Naturally, I'm gonna say, man, I don't believe that we can go all in to do HBCU Go, because HBCU Go pretty much wants to cater to all the HBCUs. But like you got right there in the graphic, man, you know, Apple TV, Amazon, like I said, Oxygen Network, you know, or it could be.
I mean, there's, yeah, I agree. I think, listen, I 100% agree with you where you say you have to maximize, you have to literally flip over every stone unturned and see what works for you. Now, Netflix is a way. Netflix is one too, because Netflix is getting into live sports as well. Hulu. You know, Hulu with live sports. Listen, I think this is my thing. I think you got to go into this thing as a partnership. And what I mean by a partnership is, it is not for you to just buy our content and put it on. It is for you to partner with us so we can also expand our brand, right? So how ESPN and CBS and Fox, they partner with the Big Ten. They've partnered with the SEC network, right? So that they get the SEC TV, you get the Big Ten network, you get these other entities that also expand the brand of what it is. And I think you got to go into these deals looking to have your own SWAC network. There's too many legends that have played in the conference to not go back and want to see those games, those classic games, those rivalry games, the Steve McNair games, right? Like, you want all that stuff to be on full display, as well as being able to have a pipeline for media jobs and media entertainment for your students and for your institutions.
So, you know what? I just thought about something. I'm gonna give you a great example. There's an actual TV app that they actually go really with sports, right? Fubo. I'm gonna use this as a template, as an example. Fubo, right? It's a you know, basically a service, their own streamline service. You actually have them as a form of streamline cable, right? Just like Hulu and everything else. But Fubo, you know what I'm saying, could be, you want to have it where you can build something, right? You say have a relationship, but my thing is you both grow together. Both parties benefit from it. Well, then if you're talking about, in their case, trying to get more streams, to get more people to get their app, you can have this app tie into what they call the SWAC Digital Network. You know what I'm saying? Marry those things together. And then, you know what, have all that programming initially from this particular app. You know, and again, I'm gonna say this too, for people who aren't familiar with television. I'm gonna use a channel like Oxygen. I'll just mention them, or Ion, right? It doesn't sound like a name that people may not be familiar with to the masses, but let me tell you guys something. And Scotty, you know what I'm about to say is true. Every channel that's on the cable network is making money. I'm talking about lots of money. Every channel that's on a cable, that's every cable network, I should say, that's actually like that's on Comcast. When you go to DirecTV, they're on there. They're making money. Hand over fist. They all have different paradigms in regards to levels, plateaus, when it comes to advertising dollars. But they're all making money. A boatload of it too. Trust me when I tell you. Any cable program that's been in business on any of these platforms for more than 5 years, trust me, they're getting bread. So again, don't sit here and handcuff yourself to one entity. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like the example, Scotty, of saying no matter what restaurant you go to, they all sell burgers. Every last one of them. Even some Chinese places, they sell wings and they got burgers.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, don't pigeonhole yourself to thinking that I can only go to ESPN or I can only go to TNT. No, even the NBA, they're known for being with TNT, right? Well, guess what they're going to be doing going forward? Because they ain't on TNT no more.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is don't handcuff yourself. This is a great opportunity for the SWAC to really elevate itself. So like we going to know now going forward, if all things rings true, where we go from here.
This and again, I'm gonna say this. I feel like I made this point. I think his legacy will be tied to this decision, right? And whatever direction he decides to take the conference, because this is a very instrumental proposition that he's placed in, is that you're stepping away from the 4-letter network, because every commissioner before you just re-signed the deal. That's all they did was kick the can down the road, right? My thing is, does he take the time and the due diligence and get the right people around him to explain to him what he is getting himself into? Because you cannot, I don't care what nobody tells me, you cannot tell me the construction of the HBCU Go deal is good. At the fabric, is what HBCU Go is it good? Absolutely. The broadcasting, the graphics, it's all dope. But the construction of the contract is not a good contract, right? So to me, in this deal, he has to get the right people around him that understand the industry, that understand the market trends, to not get locked into an 8-10-year deal, right? To where you can go 4 or 5 years, you do what you do, you come back to the table, you renegotiate, you do all those type of things, and you make it that you're not just getting a one-time payment, but you're getting advertising dollars as well that is coming to your conference as well from the ad agencies that you're getting it from. So I think that, like, again, I think this move is going to be a part of his legacy for the conference. He has to get the right people around him to advise him on how to build this contract out and then go appropriately. And you go talk to everybody. I mean, like you said, you go fill up every space. And listen, I'm going to say this as well, going back to your point. This has to be in play. It just has to. You can't have, to me, with all the shows that are popping up on YouTube, with all the voices and programming is what makes daytime television. And if you're able to get a SWAC network and the first half of it be daytime programming, to where you're having shows and you're having live shows and you're having live debates on a national program of HBCU sports, talking about HBCU basketball and talking about HBCU football, talking about the transfer portal for HBCU football, talking about signing classes for HBCU, that elevates your product and your viewership as well. But what you got, Joe?
No, I was going to say you're spot on. But again, great opportunity. But when we talk about the SWAC network, and I know they have that, but again, what all does that entail? What all does that look like? And what we visualize it to be going forward, right? So when we talk about a SWAC network, I'm quite sure the majority of us are actually thinking about an actual brick and mortar studio. Well, we're talking about with tons and tons and tons of actual content, but it's its own entity. And I'm talking about where the SWAC, or let's just say SWAC TV, right? When we're talking about our own in-house studio, we're sitting there talking about showing our own game. So we have an actual, channel 35, that's SWAC TV. Hey, what I'm saying? Jack State Southern game is actually going to be shown on SWAC TV on channel 35. Yeah. We need to get to that point where we actually own all of our content. Because again, now when you have that and you're talking about pitching that to other networks, you have more leverage and you can garner more dollars. But again, it also comes down to us collectively as a conference getting together and what those numbers look like. You know what I'm saying? So even, let me just say this. We go back to the previous SWAC championship game over the weekend with Jack State and Southern. Attendance was just a shade over 23,000, like 750, right? Which still right now ranks third among all conferences with championship games. So that still holds good when we talk about numbers. Yeah, is it disappointing from, what we expect for Jackson Southern, sure. But when you look at the lexicon of hierarchy, when it comes to all conferences, FBS and FCS, we're sitting at third right now. Third. You know, and those are damn good numbers. You could take that and sell that somewhere. You still can sell that. I mean, that's better than, and that was better than the American Conference and Conference USA. Understand what I'm saying? That's third among all FBS conferences. You can sell that. And our numbers were low. We actually expected better.
Yeah.
So again, but again, so imagine if you have those numbers, that's just from attendance. Then we also can look at the eyeballs, right? That's whether it's streaming or on the actual channel. You know what I'm saying? If we actually have one with a brick and mortar. So imagine what that can actually do. My thing is do all things possible to where the conference can literally sit there and say, hey man, we've gone to this much money, and every year this conference is paying out upwards of 10, 15, $20 million to each member institution every year. That's when you're going to see a game changer, because I promise you, when that happens, now you are talking about these are low resource schools, because now you're doing something that, man, the Sun Belt isn't even doing. But we actually have the potential, and we can actually do that.
I know I completely agree, and I think when you level the playing field in a sense of just the information, I think that's, to me, that's what bothers me about this space. Is the football not the best? Yes, but you got to have the relationship with the information and what you're seeing on the field, right? Like how you guys talk about, how many 3-stars you got, how many players you got, people want to know. So when they go watch the game, oh, that's that player Zoe was talking about that we got from Alabama who came from here, and he's a transfer from here. A lot of schools don't have that. And you need programming that influences people to feel involved in the game. And they say, oh man, we just got this 4-star, 5-star guy from, he transferred from Florida, or because that's all 0-3 and 247 and the SEC network is doing. That's all they're doing right here. Right. And go ahead.
To your point, right? When we talk about the SWAC TV, just to your point, just imagine if Charlie Neal, I'm just throwing an example. Or you can even say Jay Walker. Let's just say it's Jay Walker and Charlie Neal, right? And you actually have, this is just an example, people. Let's just say you have a recruiting show on SWAC TV called On 6. They're on recruiting service, and we have a recruiting show highlighting all these recruits who signed within the conference. Like that can actually be an hour show. Guess what? On signing day, have a recruiting show with those guys going over all the recruits. Like there's so many different avenues and so many things that we could actually do that is not being done. Like, and all the opportunity is there. The opportunity is there. To your point, that's a damn good example. We could do that. It could just be conference wide. You could actually get, even if it's one of the quote unquote Hall of Famers that came from the SWAC, that's actually talking about recruits and recruiting. Just like even with Coach Cole, you can actually get Coach Cole.
That'd be a good one. Yeah.
For example, like you can have Coach Cole, and you can have like Doug. I'm just giving an example, like Doug Williams and like Coach Cole. They're former coaches, reputable guys, and they could be talking about the recruits that signed, going to a specific show. That would be monumental. And again, that's not being done on the FBS platform. They have On3 and they have 24/7. These are sports recruiting sites. But when we're talking about having these Hall of Famers who are tied to HBCUs actually doing HBCU programming, and the SWAC can do that.
And I think you go even deeper with the coaches, right? You have, let's say you have a former coaches like a Connell Maynard and Coach Cole. They come and they have their own shows, and they're talking about schemes. They're talking about defenses. They're breaking down the Southern and Jackson game of what Southern didn't do right and what Jackson did and made the adjustments, right? So you get those. Those are just avenues that you just get more involved within the game and get people more interested into what you're doing. And again, like you said, right? If you got announcement shows of kids coming on, they got 3 HBCUs or they got FCS or whatever, they got 3 HBCUs they're choosing from, and like Asias Guthrie did for when he came to Jackson, he went on the Delaware television show and picked JSU and stuff like that. Like you need those type of moments, right? You need those type of environments to where kids feel like, yo, like if I want to make an announcement for HBCU or who I'm going to, I'm going here, I'm going to this show, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I think it'll be absolutely monumental and game changing and just for the culture in itself and for the excitement for the game.
Most definitely. And again, I gave the example with Coach Cole and Doug Williams on a coach's show, but I could even do, Scotty, it's endless. You can do a Sunday morning quarterback, you know what I'm saying, with a coach, again, former coaches, and they can actually be reviewing the games. And guess what? I'm gonna use like John Madden telestrator, yeah. Showing you, saying what happened on this play on the previous games from Saturday. That could be a whole thing. I mean, the options are limitless if you really think about it, and it's all SWAC centric. And you have the resources to get them done. All it takes is opportunity and a little ingenuity. Mostly, Scott, it just takes some want to. Everything doesn't cost a monumental amount of money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It really, really doesn't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Man, look, everybody here got internet bill. You know what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it a book. It just takes some want to, a little ingenuity. But the thing is, you got to be passion driven. You know what I'm saying? You got to be passion filled to want to see this love that we got for this conference to thrive and be the best we could be. And again, nothing's off the table. That's why I would say get a room full of creatives and make the shit happen. But the programming is endless. But again, not to veer off to it, the opportunity is now, because again, if this happens, it creates a great opportunity for dialogue, for an endless amount of things that actually be done.
I think with HBCU Go, my only pushback for HBCU Go is they treat the HBCU space like Monday Night Football, right? Or like Sunday Night Football, where they have one major game or maybe two major games, and you're trying to get a network that is able to play a slate full of games to where you're able to watch them in multiple areas and everybody come on. But I think this is a twofold thing, and I'm glad Jamie brought this up. I think it's the scheduling by the SWAC. But you can't be putting 6 games at 3:00. It just, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just can't do those type of things. I think it's how you schedule the times as well as how you're able to view the games as well. And I think this is my thing. This is my pushback for every school is able to broadcast their own game. We've already known that, right? Because you got Valley putting it on YouTube. You got Jack State Sports Network. You got the Southern Jag Network. You got the Alabama Hornet Network. Everybody's able to broadcast their own game. It's how do we get everybody on the same agenda where all the graphics look good. Everybody, FAMU to me is still FAMU and Valley are the standard for me when it comes to graphics. Everybody being on one accord, and then partnering with a cable industry or a streaming network to where you can see all the games and you can have them on demand to replay them and then have the daytime programming. But I think the commissioner has to go in with the mindset of what he's trying to build. If you're trying to build the next version of the SEC network, you got to have in your mindset, what all do we need? What all do I want to see? What programming, I mean, do you have to have it all perfectly laid out? No, because things are going to come and go as, shows come, ideas or whatever. But the mindset to just say, hey, this is what we want to have. This is what we're looking to do. If it's a recruiting show, if it's a pregame show, if it's a post-game shows, like all those little entities, how Amazon Prime does that Thursday night post-game show after the games, and you're able to have the coaches come up and talk, and that's what the SWAC should be looking to do. Be innovative, be outside the box. You got the views, you got the attendance. Now you need the production to go behind it. What you guys are?
I echo it all. I echo all of it. One thing I would do too, and there are different ways you can actually do the programming. Now, granted, I know the majority of us, probably would shy away from 11 a.m. kickoffs. But, again, if that's a thing to streamline, to have game after game after game come on, that's still an option and a possibility. But if not, I mean, you can have it, like I said, when it was Fubo TV, what if you stagger it? What if you have 2 games at 2, next set of games at 4, 2 games at 4, and then 2 games at 6, and maybe 1 at 7:30. And that way, guess what? I can have 2 games and I can, toggle between games, what I'm saying, if we're doing that. And that's probably a good way to go, but having every game on at the same time, no, and we shouldn't do that anyway. And, I think you should switch it, right? because everybody's not going to play all their games at night, and we've proven that we have enough data to show that that's not what the conference is doing or schools individually are doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like Steve mentioned, we could do that exactly. You have 1 at noon, you could do 2 at 2, 2 at 4, then maybe 2 games at 7. You can stagger it every week and just rotate there who gets the noon kickoff, whatever the case may be. And the TV will actually dictate that, right? But either way it goes, they'll all be on TV. You know what I'm saying? It's just they're going to have different kickoff times. But, man, what you said was spot on.
And I think and this is what the benefit of having your own and dictating your own is you'll be able to flex the games.
Mhm.
Right? Like you'll be able to, like when them primetime games come on, you're like, oh man, we didn't know this game was going to be as big.
We'll
when
put
we
that at 7.
You know what I'm saying? We're going to push that at 7 and we're going to move the other game up to 3. Like you're able to do that and able to make those games more interesting and flex it accordingly. But Zoe, for me, I think the biggest thing is the programming. The programming built around, because think about it, the SEC network has programming. It just does, right? On 3 and 247 have literally built recruiting sites on YouTube.
And let me say this. To your point, SEC has 24-hour programming, right? But they show a lot of reruns in the offseason as well. But here's the thing. The majority of you that can hear my voice, you're probably not watching it. You know why? Because you don't care about the SEC. So the same thing is going to happen with the SWAC TV. You care about the SWAC, so you're going to watch it.
Yeah.
And trust and believe me, too. If there's a SWAC TV available, people to me are going to be watching it. A lot of other people in Black America who ain't tied to it, they're going to watch it, too. Because it's going to pique their interest. Number one, it's the first of its kind.
Yeah.
Right? In the FCS space and the HBCU space. And my crazy cousin them down south. Let me go check out what they're talking about, right? But I'm telling you, man, you got to be intentional and you got to have some enthusiasm. At the end of the day, man, just a little want to really see this thing be the best version of itself is all that we're saying. It's all it is.
Now, listen, I know people are going to ask what the Celebration Bowl has to do with the ESPN. Okay, so I made some phone calls and I got some. The Celebration Bowl is under ESPN events. So it is not directly tied into the TV deal, but it is an ESPN owned event. So to me, this is my thing. I'm just keeping a buck with you. If I'm not going to give ESPN my biggest money maker and you don't want to partner with me anymore, no, I'm not. We're not doing that. We're going to end this. We're going to do our 2 or 3 year contract deal and we out. And we're going to figure out another. We're either going to go to the program that we're with and give them that game and maybe pitch the NCAA for a new format, 16 playoff, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, however you want to do it. But yeah, like if the ESPN does not want to be on board with this, I'm not giving you Band of the Year. We ain't doing that shit. That's out. And we're not doing the Celebration Bowl anymore. What you guys know?
And if folks worry about the name, that's nothing because as you all know, we at one time had the Heritage Bowl. So we could simply just create another bowl game. They own the name Celebration Bowl if we were to servertize or if they want to servertize. They own the game. It's their sanctioned game, and it's just the name only. All you do is simply create a new bowl game with a new name. That's all there is to it. You just finish out the deal, and then you can go your separate way.
Yeah. So I look at it very simply that you gotta do something. I mean, you can go back to the Heritage Bowl. If we're being honest, could you not just call it the Heritage Bowl again? I mean,
and do you know who the parent sponsor was for the title sponsor for the Heritage Bowl was?
Who?
McDonald's.
There you go. Go. Hey, you go spin the block. Hey, big head. Text them and say, hey, we done got about this ESPN deal. What's good?
But here's the thing. I mean, there's so many other avenues. I mean, you can actually, again, let's say we do have something. Yeah. What if Netflix decides or Amazon decides they want to get to the business? Netflix has a bowl game, or Vizio. There's so many ways you can actually go through this. Walmart, Vizio. I mean, it could be anything. Hisense. It could be anything. They want to get into it because, again, we're talking about the masses with black folk. I mean, it can happen. There's so many avenues you can go down and get this done.
Listen, I think what will be fire with the whole Netflix or whatever is if what I've realized, I've started. What am I watching? Hulu. I got Hulu, right? And on the Hulu ads, there are QR codes on every ad. Like you could just scan it, and if you to me, if the SWAC and the celebration mode, whatever, you start adding some QR codes for some stuff that black people like to buy, that's all I'm saying. You throw go a couple ads in there, you know what I'm saying, and make it work. So, to me, listen, I think at the end of the day, where we're currently at is a good foundation. But I think that, again, I feel like you could build a skyscraper with this thing if you really just get moving, if you really just start putting your head together or start really thinking outside the box of what really the HBCU space could be and what the SWAC could be. Because let's keep it real, if you wanted to expand it, you could. Right? If you wanted to expand the SWAC network into an HBCU network or whatever, you could. You could involve D2, SIAC, CIAA if it came to that, and really encompass everything. And now you make it even bigger, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, the opposite limitless. Somebody just brought it up, and they did. When BET used to show games, you did get a guaranteed 3 games every Saturday on BET. Back then, But again, when we talk about the SWAC just in general, with what we're doing from a streaming sense, and in the lexicon of FCS sports, and this is why I've always said that the SWAC was an FBS conference and FCS closing. It wasn't because of the product on the field; it was everything else ancillary about it. Outside of it. What our goals for, what we play for every season, what our goals were, because again, outside of other FCS conferences, our goals were the same as any group of 5 conference. Because they don't have a chance to really go for a championship. It's win your conference title and then go to a bowl game. And so when you look at that and you look at the numbers of what we do, the potential of what we are is great. So again, the news of this happening right here, this is not bad news. Let me make sure we put that out there. This is not bad news. It's great news because it presents a great opportunity for the trajectory of where this conference can actually go. And guess what? We're just going to sit back and see. I got my fingers crossed, hoping that we see something really, 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 really good, from this.
I really like this, right? I really, really like this. He says, Walmart just purchased Vizio. Get Walmart sponsorship and add SWAC TV to every Vizio TV like Roku. I think that is an absolutely genius market play. And if anybody is watching this from the SWAC office, thank PPMG TV. That is a dope idea, flat out.
And guess what else? I would actually go to Walmart first because Walmart just got stacked for what? Get rid of the DEI.
The DEI. So they partner with the HBCU. Say, hey, we like black people. We like diversity. We include and all that.
That's a great, and Walmart could be the title sponsor.
That's a great play. That's a damn good play by PBJ. I really like that. And listen, man, when I tell you it, this is my thing. I agree with you. You shouldn't be mad at this, right? I like nobody should be mad at this because I feel like, and I'm gonna just keep it a buck. I feel like ESPN did the SWAC a favor because you cannot tell me Dr. McNugget wanted to move away from this. You can't tell me that. I don't believe it. I do not believe it. I believe he would, if they would have gave the right deal or made the right offer, he would have resigned and would have kept having this trash ass broadcast. And the time the ticker don't work or the way the graphics is bad. All watching what the Peacock and NBC do for the Bayou Classic. Them graphics is A1. They do the starting lineups. They do the impact players. They do all that. You don't see that from ESPN. ESPN gives you the bare minimum in broadcasting. I feel as though ESPN stepping away is allowing the SWAC to go find their Cinderella and see who really believes in what they're doing in their product and really wants to put the energy behind them. But again, the SWAC commissioner has got to get out of his own ego and understand you're going to have to partner with YouTube people who are making SWAC branded shows and are able to bring the eyes and volumes what it is. You can't, and I'm going to say this very clearly. You cannot just partner with Fox News and think everything's going to be okay.
And to your point, I think that we shouldn't sit back and just wait to see what's going to come to us. I think we should be very, very offensive and pitched everywhere possible. You know what I'm saying? And because again, I know some people may say when I say that the conference could sound thirsty. Like, no, we're in the business of making money. We have a great opportunity. You know, it's a mutually beneficial relationship, and we're looking for a partner. We need this, but we could also help you with this. Those two things coming together is how we can actually grow and make money together. And that's the beautiful thing about it. So no, you're not being thirsty in that regard. You need to pitch it out there, because again, I would look at other entities that may otherwise not be even thinking about being in the world of college athletics or broadcasting games. But I'm telling you, you create your own lane, blaze your own new trail again, and you got to get uncomfortable, man. You got to get out of your comfort zone, be uncomfortable, and do something that's never been done. You know what I'm saying? And I really feel like we're on the precipice of something great within this. You mentioned NBC. Man, who doesn't love HBCU Go product? I mean, it's the quality of the camera view, man, how they show it. I told Charlie Neal to his face, man, it's BET on steroids. You know, BET was analog. This is BET, you know what I'm saying, with LED lights and the new millennium. That's exactly what it is, because the same thing you have is Charlie Neal was on both programs. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like an HD version of BET from the 80s. But the presentation is amazing.
It is.
And I think if you actually have that week in, week out. But not only that, you have that with all your programming 24 hours a day. On top of that, being able to see, we could do an instant vintage, right? Instant game from last week. We're going to replay that game. You know what I'm saying? And you have all these shows 24 hours a day. And then leading up to the next season in the summer, now you replay all those old games.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's endless. And then you're going to have the viewership. And now you're talking about being able to market that and sell that to somebody. I mean, the possibilities are endless.
They definitely are. Now, my question is for everybody and for Zoe, everybody in the chat, how much would you pay for the SWAC? Now, again, I'm not in the buy market when it comes to the SWAC. I think the SWAC needs to be in the partnership market. I think, like Zoe said, you need to be willing to partner with somebody that is going to help you grow and what you grow. You know what I'm saying? We both growing together. Now, there is no growing with Walmart, but it is growing with Walmart in the sense of, you know, sponsorship, titles, whatever like that. It would be some growing with a Pluto TV. It will be some growing with a Fubu TV. It will be some growing with the Sling TV, right? You know, getting your own app, whatever that might look like. But what would you pay? Now, mind you, ESPN was paying $745, $750K, something like that for the year for football. And I believe for basketball too, but we would stick with football. ESPN was paying $750K. You have the SEC in the same footprint that's getting over what, 500 million? 1 billion, some crazy. I know Big Ten is 1 billion, but I think it's 500, 600 million. So between 500 million and 750K, how much would you pay for the SWAC?
Before you answer or get an answer, let me just say this. We talked about an app earlier, right? We talked about even subscription base. Because you asked a question, what would you pay? Everybody in here, for the most part, had ESPN. Right?
Yep.
So if the SWAC came out and said right now, man, for services, $9.99 a month programming, and you knew you're getting all these games, they told you what everything was, $9.99 a month, and you saw that it was HBCU Go, quality product, man. If you get 50,000 subs, that's $500,000 a month.
Woo!
500,000 a month. A month. That's game.
Times that by 12, what you get? Was that 6?
Times 12, that's 6 million. That's 6 million just off subscriptions. That's 6 million off of subscriptions, bro. So again, you know, when we talk about leaving money on the table, And you know what? Some people may say, man, that's too rich for my blood.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? I'll do 50,000. We'll just do 799. That's reasonable. That's 399,500. Multiply that times 12. That's $4.7 million. Basically $4.8 million just off subscriptions. Just off subscriptions.
That's nice.
So again, it's like what are we doing and what are we not doing? What are we doing? What are we not doing? And again, that's just on that front. You still got other options in how you can go into this thing. Because watch this. Now when you talk about having the subscription base, right?
Yeah.
You still talk about advertising dollars.
Yes.
When those numbers come in, all you're doing is going down different avenues to add to that. You know what I'm saying? So again, the possibilities are endless. But again, what are we doing? What aren't we doing?
That's crazy. Now, I just got this message from my insider. Let me bring this up real quick. And I hope I'm reading this right from what he gave me. Share screen, window. All right. It says, the council ain't that swift. They just don't want to lose any revenue. So the commissioner told if they had their own advertisers or sponsors like they do, Pepsi, Cricket, and GM, and others, they can go anywhere and not miss anything financially. At yesterday's Council of Presidents meeting, the SWAC would not allow any ADs or other staff to be present, I'm told. The commissioner is expected to share the same presentation and talk with the ADs this weekend when they meet around the Celebration Bowl. So that is the insight of what they are trying to do. So listen, at the end of the day, again, this is some short-sighted mindset. If you're worried about losing revenue, this is how people sign bad deals, right? Because you're not willing to take the risk of finding something better. You're just okay with, well, we're getting money. Even though that money is $750K that you got to divide up by 12 people, that is barely getting you across the threshold, and you add the Celebration Bowl, what? $300,000, $400,000 or $500,000, and divided by 12, or however that revenue share works. Again, it's a short-sighted mindset that is going to keep the SWAC in a pigeonhole situations by the Council of Presidents. Any opinion on that, Zoe?
Much of the same, unfortunately. So got to be like Jesse Jackson and keep hope alive.
Listen, man.
Listen. My thing is, and my only thing is, and I say this from a great place, man. I love the SWAC, man. Look, I love Jack State. I love the SWAC, man. I love HBCU's football. I do. You know what I'm saying? I like the MEAC, but I love the SWAC. You know what I'm saying? And but I want the MEAC to thrive just as well too. You know what I'm saying? And I really can't see why we aren't really maximizing, trying to put our best foot forward to make the SWAC the very, very absolute best that it can be. Doing something new and innovative doesn't mean that you're cutting off your nose to spite your face by getting rid of something of the ways that we used to do. And I'm going to say this, evolve or die.
Evolve or die.
Point blank period. Evolve or die. And we can't, and I'm going to say this too, in this new college football landscape, we know that everything caters to the Power Four. We've seen all the changes just this year alone. We can't move going forward without trying to maximize everything in the best way that we can, because, Scott, it's too much uncertainty, you know what I'm saying, with what the NCAA is going to do from month to month, from season to season.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we're too reactionary as a conference, as opposed to being offensive. And that's the problem. And I think even with regards to some of what we're doing, we're being reactionary. We're not being visionary. We're not being reactive, And that's why I say, look, this create a great opportunity with things that we could do. Because again, like I laid out to you guys, don't tell me what we can't do when we sit here and do it now. Because right now we're paying for a subpar service with ESPN. We 1,000 all are in agreement with it. Everybody's paying for it. Well, 3/4 of us are paying for it. Some people use other people logins, but you get what I'm saying. 3/4 of us are paying for it, but still, we're paying for subpar service.
Yeah.
Don't tell me we won't pay for damn good service of our own. That's all I'm saying.
That's fair. This question was brought up yesterday. Zoe, explain why we have the Celebration Bowl. The reason he's saying that is because my belief is that Bama's was ducking the FCS playoffs. You didn't want to play competition. You kept getting your butt whooped. And you're like, hey, it don't make no sense for us to go across the country to get our butt whooped. And let's just play our neighbor down the street, have a little get together, you know what I'm saying? A little barbecue, a little cook up, and Celebration Bowl. Voila.
Well, the real reason why they did it wasn't the competition, but what I'm about to say in lieu of today's events, I'm about to forewarn you that I'm about to contradict myself. Let me just say that. So the real reason why they chose to have the Celebration Bowl was because going to the FCS playoffs was losing money. You know, you paying the NCAA, you know what I'm saying, 3/4. Well, first off, you play these astronomical numbers to even try to host a game, but it's a money pit. It's a known money pit. Even those teams who go to the FCS playoffs, those powerhouses, on the first chance they had to get out of the FCS, they did it. Why? Money. You know, again, and we also have to remember too, when we talk about going to the FCS playoffs, it's not a level playing field because again, you have certain schools in that who are their own state. They're the flagship schools of their state. They don't have the restrictions financially that some of the other. So it's not an equal playing, and that's fine. It's not an excuse. But at the end of the day, we're losing money. There's no point in going into something or trying to get something and you're bleeding money, because the one thing about all HBCU programs, football funds the entire athletic department. So we can't sit here and go into something and losing money. Now, I gave you a disclaimer before I said all that, because with me saying all of that, hindsight 2020, I'm sorry, why would you make decisions that's not going to maximize getting even more money, knowing that football and the financial restraints that we have, and that football pretty much funds the majority or all of our athletic budgets? Why aren't you trying to maximize in and everything you can so you can actually get rid of that problem, or try to minimize that thought process and that problem and change that from your reality? That's why I said I'm gonna contradict myself, because on one end you make a decision to forego something because it's bleeding money, and you say basically you're just making a move to stop the bleeding, as opposed to make a move to thrive in a land of milk and honey where you're just getting so much money to where that's old year stuff, that's old year news, and we're not doing that. And sitting there saying that only 2 or 3 schools really benefit from that is not doing good for a conference wide or conference as a whole. I'll say this. I'm gonna go ahead and say this. You know, I saw the thing where, you know, it was said that, you know, we have so much money being paid to all the member institutions. Okay. Well, I'm gonna say this. All of y'all can hear me, and all of y'all can see better than you can hear. So if you take let's just take the past 10 years, and I'm gonna take any school in the SWAC, any school. What have you seen with your own 2 eyes, whether it's the play on the field, the product on the field, or even at your schools from an athletic standpoint? What have you seen at your school where you can sit there and say, I see where my school has been getting all of this money? Put them in the comments. You can. Anything that you've seen that your school's gotten, your school got it on its own back. It's called you see better than you hear. Name one thing that you saw, anything they have. I'm not saying some school hasn't gotten facility upgrades and things of that nature. Everything that your school's got is gotten it on its own merit, whether it's through sponsorships or however that your school went about getting it. You saw in the past 10 years, you haven't seen them where you know your school is getting X amount of dollars. You know what I'm saying? From the entity of the conference. You're not seeing that. Now, I'm not saying the conference is doing anything, but you're not seeing it where, oh man, we're getting $5-6 million. Because if you saw that on a consistent basis, you will see different things. It will look different. Point blank, period. Either that or there's some mismanagement going on. Point blank, period. I can take the school away. If you yourself know right now, even if you were struggling, and you mess around now in a 10-year span, and you're getting multiple millions of dollars from somebody outside of your job, you work at the school, outside of the school, and you're getting multiple, let's just say, even if you're getting, I'm gonna say $5 million every year for 10 years, you're gonna see something different. You ain't seeing nothing different right now.
Brian says NCAT didn't benefit for being in Celebration 3 of those 4 years. I mean, we can say the same thing about Alcorn. Alcorn didn't benefit, and they were in the Celebration what, twice? Celebration Bowl twice, back to back? Three times?
Well, Celebration Bowl
Twice, right?
Twice.
They couldn't even pay for their shoes. I mean, listen. I don't. Again, listen. I get what is the FCS a raining of money? No, but neither is the Celebration Bowl. 3 times. He said 3 times. All right, 3 times. Right, 3 times. Right. So it's the Celebration Bowl, and it hasn't increased. Like you would think an event that's so big and so monumental in the money has not increased. You can't tell me that ESPN events ain't making hand over fist at the Celebration Bowl. You can't tell me that.
Let me say this, because I know somebody gonna look at this and think I'm being crazy or something. Listen, I love the SWAC. Love the SWAC. That's all I know. Like I said, I love the SWAC like MEAC, but I love the SWAC. Love everything about it. All I'm sitting here saying is we have to do things to maximize our earning potential, because I would love, realistically, to sit here and say and know that we're in a conference, you know what I'm saying, and and the SWAC is thriving to where every school in this conference is getting $10 million a year. Because I promise you, if that were the case, that we're getting $10 million a year or $15 million a year, I promise you, you will see it. You will see what they look like. You know, Valley have a nice baseball stadium. And you'll see stuff every year. Valley have a brand new baseball stadium. Valley have a brand new track and field stadium. You know what I'm saying? Like it's tangible. It's a tangible thing that you can see. But not just Valley, everything. You know what I'm saying? You can have a plan. And it's not just, and we're not saying that all this money goes to facilities, but I'm saying typically that's how black folks roll. I mean, I got some more money, I'm gonna have something that look nice. But then guess what? Now I can do other ancillary things, you know what I'm saying, even outside of facilities, Scotty. I can sit here and say, you know, well, the way we travel, you know what I'm saying, or whether it's suits, you're gonna see it. You're gonna see something tangible in every facet of the sport, whether it's football, basketball, or likewise. I tell you another thing that will happen. If we'll really get money like that, you will see basketball on all these schools scheduling the way that they do, because they wouldn't have to.
Yes,
they wouldn't have to.
That's fair.
So that's what I'm saying. You will see tangible things that would change. Everybody's training table will be good. You see where I'm going with this? So it ain't always facilities. It's in a lot of other things as well. And again, just take the past 10 years from every school in the SWAC. Hell, every school in the MEAC, past 10 years, everybody can hear my voice. You can sit there and put in the comments, what have you seen tangible that you feel that you've gotten from the conference that you can sit there and say, oh, we benefited from this. You don't have that. And this is not an indictment on the Celebration Bowl. I'm just saying in general, because the Celebration Bowl is just one part of it. It's an addition to. What I'm saying is we got to maximize what we're doing. We have to. I want the best for the SWAC. I want to see us thriving to where, because honestly, I tell you like this, if we're truly thriving the way that we were, man, you will see way more schools in the SIAC saying, man, let me hurry up and get my ass.
Yeah, let me go ahead and make that jump and make that bump so I can get some of this payday. That's fair. That's fair. That is totally fair. And this is my thing. And listen, I have an indictment on the Celebration Bowl. So don't, but I do. And I don't care about them. NCAT's profile didn't shoot through the roof because they went to the Celebration Bowl. NCAT's profile was being bigger because of the brands of wins they were stacking of those times when they were really, really good football program, when they were beating Power Fours. Same thing with Bethune-Cookman. When Bethune-Cookman was at its highest, wasn't because they were, it wasn't no celebration bowl. It was because of the value of the wins they were putting and stacking up on their profile. And Incat's a popular brand, right? So I think the Celebration Bowl might have added to it, but it wasn't like, oh my God, it was everything before the Celebration Bowl. I disagree with that. I think it was because of the brand and their winning and how they were winning and how they were doing it. My thing is this: if the Celebration Bowl has been going on for what, 6 years?
6, 7 years.
6, 7 years. Why is the money not gone up?
That's another thing too. That's a good point too.
Why has the payout not gone up? You cannot tell me from the first time they started to the renewing of the contract to adding a sponsor, why has the payout not gone up? But you're just so happy to be there, right?
That's an amazing point, because if you go back and look at other bowl games, I know some people say, well, that's FBS. It's an ESPN owned product. ESPN is doing the payout. It's not that it's FBS, and that's a damn good point, because payouts do change. And do me one favor, highlight KP's comment right quick, Scott.
KP.
Right there. Now, it depends on the school. It depends on the school. Yes, you'll make more money hosting a SWAC championship than the Celebration Bowl. Here's why. You take what Jackson State did, even though the attendance was low, they still garnered over, I'd probably say about 1.3 million in ticket sales when you factor in the money, plus all the parking and concessions. So yes, you can get more money, but the reason why I say it depends, because it depends on what you're going to draw for that game. You know what I'm saying? Jackson State has the earning potential to make even more, because, for an example, let's say if it was 40 or 50,000, you see what I'm saying? Then that can easily get up to about 3 million in ticket sales. So Jackson State and I think for the most part, Alcorn can squeeze in 30,000. Southern can get 30,000. FAMU going to hover around 25, 26. And Alabama State could get around 30,000. Those schools, yes, they can make more money than a Celebration Bowl. It's going to differ when you talk about Prairie View. Grambling could probably get about 25, you know what I'm saying? So Grambling too. Grambling can squeeze in there. But it's different numbers when you talk about Valley, when you talk about Prairie View, Pine Bluff, because their stadiums hold, 19,000 and under. And Alabama A&M, I think they're about 23. They can get 24, 25,000. So they can get over 1 million as well. Plus, when you factor in parking and concessions, yes, they can make more than the Celebration Bowl by hosting the SWAC championship game.
I want to talk to this person. Tell me what the original payout was. If you're telling me that the payout increased, tell me what the original payout was. That's all I want to know. That's all I want to know. You said that it has gone up. Tell me what the original one was. That's all I ask. I'm over the call lines up real quick. 518-263-8124, 518-263-8124.
There is one other participant in the conference.
Payout has not changed.
All participants are muted.
Payout has not changed.
5193 coming to you.
Good evening, Scotty.
What's up, Uncle
Hey,
Willis?
Zo.
What's going on?
So, this is what I point this out. The SWAC supposed to had sponsored. Supposed to had promoted the SWAC championship. Now, this is what I'm saying. So I never did get a chance to talk to you on the other platform. But you take the 50-yard line on both sides, and you put backs and armrests in those seats, and you paint them blue and white, however you want to do them. And that be your reserve seats, and you can charge that $55, $60 for those seats. Everything else could be $40. But watch this though: women lie, men lie. Numbers don't lie. $35 a seat for 60,000 seats is $2.8 million. We need to utilize that stadium for that 65,000. Something else I want people to understand: when you look on Jackson, when you look in the vet and you see Jackson State side full, I want y'all to know something. That's not one of these regular high school stadiums. When Jackson State side is full and half of that U is full, that's over 35,000 fans. I'm not just talking shit. Tell them I'm not talking shit, Zo.
Well, no, you're not. But let me say this though, Willie. You're right. If our side is full up into the horseshoe, was with the section closed, it's 30,000. right? 30,000 that you get. But here's the thing, though, and I was talking about this yesterday. College football, and I'm not trying to segue, but I'm making a point to your point, Willie. You know, I was highly disappointed in the attendance for the championship game, right? And I know some people may say, well, it's pricing. Well, the championship game was a lot less attended than the first Boombox Classic, a lot less. And you know, I actually said on the sideline during the game, I said, you know what, I think I've seen the last of what I know Southern versus Jackson to be in Jackson. Because all my life, and I actually told Sky this a while back, you know, I was like, all my life, man, I've been to Southern versus Jackson State Baton Rouge, and it's packed, great environment. But I've been to Notre Dame, I've been to the Big House, I've been to University of Illinois, I've been to LSU at night in Tiger Stadium, I've been to big time games and big time matchups. And I will always say that I would take Southern versus Jackson State and Jackson over all of it. And all my life, it was what it was.
I've always been that way, so.
But what I saw.
Let me say one more thing before I get out.
Hold on, because I'm gonna make a point. But because what I saw Saturday,
I'm sorry.
You good. What I saw Saturday was an atrocity. But to your point, the point that I'm getting at is that attendance across the board is dropping. Southern is not attending games at home like they used to. That was a championship game, and we got 23,000 in that thing. And we know we should have easily gotten 45, 50 to 55,000 for that game for those two teams. And to only get 23,000, and everybody know that was straight up. No, I was actually shocked that it was actually 23,000. It just shows you the decline of attendance on college football. Go ahead, Will.
No, it was about 30,000. But see, it's people in the chat. If Mr. Campbell, you not on here, they ain't gonna believe what nobody else say. Tell them how many people at the stadium hold. Because I was up there when they had 63,000 when Alcorn and Valley and Jackson State.
Nobody cares. We're talking 2024.
No, the stadium.
No. You have people in the chat that said this stadium ain't gonna hold no more than 6,000. And I'm telling you,
the stadium present day right now at capacity will hold 60,000 even. At its highest, it holds 62.
That's all I wanted to say.
Congratulations. It won't ever happen again. It won't ever happen again. Congratulations.
There's a section that's closed off.
People don't need to be putting out false information, Scott. They don't know what the fuck they talking about. They've never been to Jackson. They've never been in the vet, and they have a whole bunch to say. That's what gets on my nerves. Thank you.
Thank you, Uncle Willie.
Well,
thank you for the call. Thank you for the call. I know Carter. I know you called in. I want to get the Carter. I want to get the Carter. Whoever's Carter, give me your last four and put it in the phone. I'm gonna take another caller, but give me your last four. Mr. Sergeant, coming to you. No. I see. Yard Talk coming to you.
Scotty, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's up?
I just want you to do one thing for me.
Talk to me.
Do you have that video of Fly's daughter? Was she like,
of who?
Of Fly's daughter.
Boosie.
Oh.
Boosie daughter.
I told y'all niggas. I gotta find it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna go back in the chat. I just want you to play that for me because we've been in this thing for 2-3 years now. And we're finally getting to where we tried to tell them. We tried to tell y'all, but y'all didn't want to listen. All right, I'm gone.
I appreciate it. Oh, let me see. I got. Oh man, I just closed it out too. Let me see. Carter. Yeah, of course. Let me see real quick.
That joker said Plies' daughter.
Yeah, it was Boosie's daughter, right?
Yeah.
So let me see if I can find. I got the drop though. I know I got the drop.
Hey, Varick, what Willa did, I can speak to that. It was never a 44. What they did was, the seats haven't changed. It's been seating all across the stadium. What they ended up doing was Tennessee did it too. They took the standard seat size and doubled them up to make them bigger and spaced it out. That's all it did. So they'll say 44,000. You do know no seats were ever moved or changed. So the bitches never changed, but they ended up marking the seats and putting them back to where they are present day. So the stadium capacity is 62,512, but we have a section closed off. But what we also did too was accounted for that by putting those suites and having people in the end zone and in the horseshoe as well. So the current capacity right now is 60,000 even.
I told y'all niggas. Y'all thought I was playing, but I told y'all.
That's how I go. All right, 1800 coming to you. Hey, call you live.
Man, what up, Scott? This BJ.
What's up? Hey, what's up, BJ?
Hey, I told you I ain't got a new number, man. Yeah,
my bad.
What's up, man?
Yeah, anyway, man, I'm called 1911 in the chat.
Oh!
Check your text messages. I just sent you some stuff to your text messages, man. I'm trying to do everything at one time. You not be working. You trying to grind and listen to you all at the same time.
He multitask.
Go ahead.
All right. So the original Celebration Bowl payout, the million per conference ran from 15, was supposed to run from 15 to 20. It ran from 15 to 21 because we didn't get a game in 20. So it stretched it out to 21. 22 started new payout, which I just sent you.
What is it now, BJ?
22 to like 27. And then they go back, look at it, and then whatever happens after that, that's what happens, right? So that's what we on now. Now, I will say this. As far as ESPN goes, Zoe brought up a good point. I like the Peacock, the NBC broadcast better than anything that ESPN does for several reasons. Number two, you can tell that the people from NBC actually do the work and the due diligence on the teams that they're covering.
Yes.
I can't say the same thing for ESPN. I can't tell you how many times I've watched Southern when I don't go to games and Southern get called the Tigers.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We're not the Tigers, right? Alcorn's band got called the Sonic Boom of the South. That's not who the Sonic Boom of the South. It's just, it felt like ESPN threw some stuff out there because the Negroes are just going to be happy that we're here anyway, right? That's what it felt like. So I think that I've always talked to you about, hey man, the SWAC could probably try Fox Sports, NBC, because what has happened, ESPN has swallowed up all this coverage, and now they're hemorrhaging money. All right. They treated football like it was just a golden goose, and it was just going to create all this money. Look at the contracts they signed with the SEC and all that. And I'm gonna be honest with you, if you look deeper in that, they don't know where that money is going to come from. They gave all these conferences this crazy ass amount of money, and just say that the money's going to grow on trees, and it's not like that. So I think the SWAC is being smart, do your due diligence, but you got to go somewhere where you're going to be valued. Mm-hmm. You brought up a good point about ESPN events at ESPN. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't see the Celebration Bowl nor the MEAC SWAC Challenge going anywhere for two reasons. Number one, they own it. They own those names. Zoe brought up the Heritage Bowl. We don't even own that name either, so we couldn't use that either. I just don't see it going over. I think it's a situation where ESPN, they have bowl games like with the Mountain West and some of these other conferences that they have bowl games through, even though they don't cover them or put their games on during the year. So I think that's the kind of situation you're going to get. But I think, hey, today's a good day. Go out, YouTube. There's so many different ways to consume the sport of football. It just doesn't have to be the 4-letter network that's been been messing you over, for the last, decade or so. And just my.
Now, BJ, sent me. It says $2 million is the payout. For the bowl in 2022, December 12, 17, 2022, correct?
Yeah, look at the top. That's per. Look at the top of the chart. That's per participant.
It just says payout.
Then that would be per school then.
So I thought it'd be $1 million per school. Because
I'm trying to look at the chart that I sent you. Hold on.
Yeah. So because I'm reading. Okay.
Yeah. So the payout on that one should be like $2 million. It's $2 million, and then it's it's $2 million. That's per school, per participant. A
Well,
million goes to both schools. A million goes to both conferences.
that changes things then.
Okay, so hold on. 6 years. Because because it's two things. When I'm reading this article, it says it was reported that each league will receive 1 million annually from ESPN, and that would get you your 2 million. And when I Google it, right, it says, and I'll bring this up so everybody can see because I want people to say like I'm just talking. Let me bring this up real quick. And when I Google it, it has a $2 million payout, but it breaks down the same way of out. It looks like this. See, it says the payout 2 million, 1 million per conference. So that means the payout would truly be 4 million if you're saying what you're saying.
Yeah, because also it was 2 million. It was $1 million for the schools and then $1 million for the conference.
That would be 4 million. If it's $1 million,
Right.
if it's $1 million per, so that means the payout would be 4 million. It wouldn't say 2 million, correct? I'm just because listen, you know me, I don't be listen. I look at numbers and I don't be knowing everything. So because if you're because a payout to me, when I say I'm gonna pay something out, it will be the full payout of what comes out of what it is. So if it will be 4 million, then it will be 2 million per conference, and then you would see the 1 million to the team that goes. But I never knew it to be like that. I thought it was 1 million per conference, and the team that goes gets a hefty share of that 1 million, and the rest of the million gets disseminated throughout the conference. That's what I had always known it to be.
Yeah, I know it was like I know that was what it was on the original contract. That's what it was. But I was told that changed out. So we'll see.
So NCAT's
We all fake school. So hey, it's gonna come up in the audit one way or the other.
So the NCAT guy says, NCAT AJ now says it's been 1 million per conference, 2 million total. I was told the payout went to 3 million, 1.5 million per conference. So, but I'll say this, my personal opinion. I feel as though as big, if you're telling me that this is in the top 10 of bowl games, right? And that's if you, I think if you just take out New Year's, it was something to where if you just have the New Year's 6 bowls, the SWAC is like number 11 or number 12 or something crazy like that. To me, this payout got to get up to about 6 million, $4 to $5, $6 million. Because to me, to have an FCS team be in the top 10 in bowl games and would be top 5 without the New York 6, the New Year Eve 6, you come on, man. It got to get up there. It got to get up there.
I will say that the schools and the conferences have outperformed the payout. If you look at what has happened, look at how attendance has shot up these last couple of years, I would say that the Celebration Bowl shouldn't be in the same realm as these Conference USA or MAC Bowls. I think that it actually should be in the same realm of some of the lower tier Power 5 bowls that they're getting. If you look on that sheet I gave you, it gives all the bowl payouts. It should be up there with the
Cheez-It Bowl.
with the military. Yeah, Cheez-It Bowl.
Like 6 million for the Cheez-It Bowl. Like what? Come on, man.
Yeah, we should be getting San Diego County Credit Union Holiday Bowl money.
The Valero Bowl. The Valero Bowl is $8 million.
Yeah, so I feel like we should be getting up there. If we fill in the house like they do, and if you look at the attendance, the Celebrations Bowl attendance has been up there. Even last year with no Deion, because people try to say, oh, Deion. If you look at it, and then if you're getting the eyeballs, which the Celebration Bowl has, it's been one of the most viewed bowl games, then I feel like, hey, you gotta pay us. And that I know that there was an increase, but the increase wasn't enough. because I feel like the schools and the conferences have outperformed it.
That's fair. That's
That's just my opinion. Now I could be wrong. My first time negotiating the television, my next time negotiating the television contract will be my first time. But I do know how to add 1 and 1, and I know that it's 2. It ain't 1.5. So you know what I'm saying? I feel like, hey, that's when the commissioners got to come in and say, hey, we're doing this. This is where we stack up. Hey, man, at worst case scenario, man, pay me like what you said, the Valero Bowl.
Yeah, like the
You can't even tell me the last time you watched the Valero Bowl.
Dog, listen, BJ, the Duke Mayo Bowl gets $4 million. The Duke Mayo Bowl.
I ain't gonna lie, I do watch the dude get dunked with mayonnaise.
That's
I don't watch the game though, but when they pour the tub of mayonnaise on
that's at the end of the game though.
Listen,
Yeah, that's at the end.
That's some white stuff right there, because I could never. I dunk with mayo. What kind of celebration is that? I don't even want to win the game because I don't want to get mayo dunked on me.
Yeah,
Hell
bro.
no.
Hey man,
it looks real weird, but it's interesting. But yeah, man, pay us up there, and like that's my argument. I feel like hey, you want to give us a first contract, cool, because you want to see, hey, is this thing gonna work? How people are gonna respond? But the Celebration Bowl started in 2015. We're in 2014. This is the 9th one coming up. I feel like you got more than enough data points to suggest that this thing more money needs to come our way, and you can't pay us like you're paying these MAC and Conference USA schools.
That's fair.
That's my opinion. We're going back to work, man.
Hey, appreciate it, BJ. Appreciate the call,
All
bro.
right, BJ.
So, I mean, come on, man.
Tell you what, man, dump some cabbage on you, be big slaw.
I'm trying to think what dunking of something would like a black school prefer. You know what I'm saying? Like
barbecue sauce.
I would do that. But Sweet Baby Ray's, oh hell yeah! You can dunk me with some Sweet Baby Ray, boy. I know that sounds weird, but you can dunk me with some Sweet Baby Ray, Sweet Baby Ray, boy, a Sweet Baby Ray bowl game. You can dunk me, okay? What? Hell yeah, Zo, that's fucking cheap.
Somebody said lemon pepper wet.
You in Atlanta? Hey, listen, Tony Sasseries.
Oh no, you go sneeze the hell back.
Oh man, the Lowry's Bowl. You know what I'm saying? I said some
sweet tea.
Some half and half. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Listen, I'm rocking with it. Mr. Sergeant, coming to you.
Hey, guys, thank you for taking my call. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right. So I wanted to do something. And first of all, I agree with everything that the previous caller said. I was going to make my point a little different way. I don't know if y'all remember when the Olympics went to Brazil. A lot of people don't know how the Brazilians got them to change their mind, because they were actually going to do it someplace else. What the Brazilian government did, or the people who were presenting, what they did was they came to the Olympic people who make that decision, the committee, and they had a world map. They had a huge world map, and they had it in a frame, and they put a flag, small Olympic flag, on every city where the Olympics had been held. And then when they had it all mapped out, they flipped it upside down, and they asked everybody to look at it again. And there were no Olympics in South America, and there was only one Olympics in Africa, in Egypt, in Cairo, back in the 50s. And so what they basically said was, I could see you guys making a case for Africa because they've only had one, but we haven't had any in our whole continent. And so the committee looked, and they had like Japan 3 or 4 times, the United States like 10 times, and they said, okay, we're going to move this thing to Brazil. And if it wasn't for the disease that was going around at that time, I think it would have been a great Olympics. So when the previous caller said, hey, look, let's just list all the payouts, right? Let's look at all the payouts versus the attendance and the viewerships, and then say, all right, here's where we're performing. if all things being equal, we're doing better than the lower FBS bowls, and so our payout should absolutely be higher. And so, Zoe, I want to come to you because I want to answer your question about, hey, if the SWAC has been receiving all this money, where have you seen updates on your campus? So the Gaucher, who was our AD, he was the AD before the original big girl. He made a lot of improvements to FAMU facilities around football, but he did it through his own work and effort, getting the LeBron deal, and he got a lot of sponsorships. He raised a lot of money. There was no money coming in from the MEAC that we could see or track or show and prove that those improvements were being made. So I just want to reiterate your point, Zoe. That was brilliant. We need to be able to see that all this money we're getting in is having an impact on our campuses and with our sports teams. The FAMU has the most difficult out-of-conference basketball schedules, both on men and women, because we don't have a whole lot of money, and we have to go out there and play these games where we get killed, but we make money to support ourselves. And so this brings me to my last question, and I'll leave it here. What responsibility do the alumni from all of our respected institutions have to push our ADs and our presidents to be more bold when it comes to getting these media deals and getting these bigger payouts? What responsibility do we have to push the commissioner to do some of that? And so I just wanted to throw that out here, guys. I'm gonna get back to the grind. Appreciate you. And next time, Scotty, put those contracts up there because I love to see those contracts.
Hey, listen, if I can get them, I'm gonna get them. If I can't get them, I can't get them. But I appreciate it.
Well, I'll say this. I think what we could do is pretty much. I don't think it's what we could do. I think the bowl game is just a microcosm of the totality of everything. I think they're pretty much one and the same. It just echoes louder because this is the ending point to the finale of what we call the season. So basically, that bowl game is a microcosm of everything that we've done individually as a whole. Really. So the thing is, we need, and let me say this too. I don't want to put this on the ADs because there are some ADs doing good work. I can say ADs, Rob doing some good work, but there's still much to be done, right?
Yeah.
But again, you still can put them on ADs, but also as well, man, presidents, ADs. But man, it really comes down to the schools individually from a sports route needs to get that done. But when they collectively get together, when they're supposed to be forming like Voltron, they ain't forming like Voltron. They're not moving as one cohesive unit, literally moving as one to say, man, what's the best thing for the SWAC? Are we doing every day the best thing to make the SWAC the best that it can be, to make it as profitable as they can make it? Y'all all know that's not true because it's not being done. Because I always say the one thing about it, man, just look at the data. Look at the data. Even if there's gray area, it's the year of our Lord, 2024. I'm not going to even say 10 years. Let's go back to 2020. It's almost about to be at next month. It'll be 25 years. That's a large enough sample size.
That's good.
We can take 25 years. What tangible change have you seen in 25 years? And it's been 8 Celebration Bowls, Scotty, by the way. This game Saturday to be the 9th game. But what tangible thing? I'm not just saying for Jackson State. I'm saying each one of y'all from an individual school or the conference as a whole, outside the conference office moving from where it was to Birmingham, right? And we relocated from having a neutral site game to the game being on campus. But that's a championship game thing. What have you seen tangible at your school that we're benefiting of, where you can sit there and say, we've made growth and headway in this? Name it. Name it. So we're not gonna leave it up to Zoe or leave it to Scotty to give our opinion. You put it in the comment because you can say it better than I can. You name one tangible thing that you've seen where you see growth in 25 years. Put it right there in the comments.
That's tough. That's tough. That's tough.
The data's there. So again, I see better than I hear. Because trust me, you will see through anything that's thriving, you're going to see that it's thriving. Whether subconsciously, whether I want you to or not,
you're going to see
you're going to see evidence that it's thriving. A tree is going to show that it bears good fruit.
like that. I like that. 0851 coming to you.
Hey, how you guys doing? It's John in Houston. One tangible thing. I mean, Bethune-Cookman still don't even have a whole track.
That's fair.
And they even with that straightaway, they still ain't running the 100-yard dash.
That's fair.
But but I mean,
All right, sorry, man, you're breaking up. Rocky, coming to you.
Hey, what's up, fellas? This is a real rich conversation, man. I like the way a lot of you guys are thinking. I'll ask Zoe this question, right? From a framework standpoint, why hasn't athletics been able to function as more of a business on the HBCU side rather than a charity that's attached to a school?
I can't answer that. I don't know. I can't answer that. I can give my thoughts into that's a slippery slope, and I'm just being truthful. I really don't know. That Rocky is the $1 million question, because in essence, that's kind of what we're saying too. But I don't know, and I'll be grasping at straws and try to say it. I don't know.
So because I'll just do like the simple math, like the real simple math. I think it's fair to say that on game day in Jackson, I've never been there, but I've seen the crowds, I've seen the people. On the game day, the school probably can generate $500,000 in revenue with ticket sales.
$1 million easy. They clear $1 million easy.
I'm just gonna say $500,000, right?
No, it's $1 million. I talked to Ashley. It's $1 million. He told me straight up. It's $1 million easy.
All right. So it's $1 million. Why can't? Okay, so you take that $1 million. What is there? 7 home games?
5.
5 home games, right? All right. So that's $5 million. Why can't that money be earmarked for athletics to be spent at their discretion?
Well, I can't say if it is or if it isn't or why or why not. I'm just
nobody ever can though. So,
but I'm gonna say this. But I'm gonna say this. I can speak to a good portion of the things that Jackson State does, right? From an athletic standpoint, Ashley does a damn good job of that. You know what I'm saying? I can actually go to bat for Ashley and the work that he does, but that kind of goes to what I've been saying, right? I can, at least with the work that Ashley does, is tangible. You can see it. You see what I'm saying? There's tangible things you can see. Jackson State does great on oh my God, on basketball, what you call it, they man? The players get paid for
NIL.
No. I just went blank. Cost of attendance.
Oh,
cost of attendance. Like Jack State does great on cost of attendance, right? You know what I'm saying? One of the only schools in the SWAC from a basketball standpoint that the players are getting paid cost of attendance. And we do great there. You know what I'm saying? So again, there's tangible things that even we all can see and know that Jackson is doing because of the success that we've had and the numbers that we do. But I can't speak to everything because we're still dropping the ball on a lot of things as well. Rocket, to your point.
No, so and that's and what I'm saying though is that I know you talking about Jackson State and stuff, but I only brought Jackson State up because of they're a school that I know what their attendance is. I don't really know the attendance of many other schools in the SWAC, to be perfectly honest with you. Mm-hmm. But what I'm saying is y'all are if Prairie, I'll just use a school like Prairie View, right? If the athletic department had to be more aggressive in seeking out attendance to support the program, then maybe they may be more innovative. Maybe they will be more creative and creating interest in their program. But because whether 10 people show up or 2,500 people show up, no one seems to care. right? I think athletics should always be operated as a business because it's an entertainment product. You know what I mean? It's not an academic product. It's not an extension. It's part of the school, but it's not part of a classroom. So you have to run it like a business. And so, and it seems that on every other level of college football, like the whole situation with the payouts for the classics and all those things going to the general funds of the school, like that makes no sense to me. When you take the budgets, when those teams travel and are fed off of their athletic budgets to get to these bowl games and these classics, and then you put the money in the general funds. Why would you do that? You don't pay the expenses out to general funds.
Well, like I said, to that I can answer, and I wouldn't try to separate Jack State because my point was, even with JSU, we do some great things, but that's why I always ended up saying, but we're still falling short in other areas as well. Everything is just peaches and cream at Jack State, so we're still in the same boat, even in the example of Prairie View, right? But to answer your question, everybody handled their accounting differently, but that's one thing that seems to be coming across the board with HBCUs by putting money in the general fund. Why that's that way, I don't have any idea, and I can't even answer that. I wish I knew, but you know, that seems to be the main thing that happens to all of them. You know what I'm saying? Why and how it doesn't make sense to me, because again, now granted, but I'll say this just to kind of give it a go. I think the way it is that way because, like I gave the statement, you know, that football pays for everything. And if we get into the idea of saying, well, football makes this money, right? At least I'm thinking if football makes this money, and then, you know, football is paying for everything else, we can't separate it, because if we separate it, then it's really going to minimize what baseball is getting or what track and field is getting, or maybe even the example you're giving, Rocky, where hell, even some at the school is possibly not getting. You see what I'm saying? Where, you know, this particular, like Jack State's a great research institution, right? But, you know, it may be money that's being shorted for maintenance, I guess. I'm assuming. I don't know. But I think that's a byproduct of the problem. I think it's just been the way that it's been so long that it's ingrained, because again, that's the difference. Football pays for everything from an athletic standpoint. Like your bowling program at these HBCUs, you don't have a bowling program if it were for football. And that's just it is what it is. Football pays for everything at these schools.
Well, I agree. And I think Scotty and Perry had a great conversation yesterday on their show, of where Coach Simmons was complaining at Grambling. The women's basketball coach was complaining about having to play money games. And I think Scotty then was talking about, she was complaining about the competition. I don't think she was really complaining about the competition. I think she was claiming that the teams that are well funded, the teams that do well, or whatever you want to call it, they're forced to play these stack their schedule with these money games for the program, not necessarily for competition purposes, but for money purposes.
Oh, so hold on, time out, Rocky. Hold on. How can she not be talking about competition and she has to play the games? No,
but what I'm saying is she don't want to play the games.
Then she's talking about competition.
She don't want to have to go play a game for $40,000. She rather play Northwestern or Arizona, Arkansas State or North Texas or UTSA. You know what I mean? She'd rather go play a game that has she has a competitive chance rather than play a money game.
She played Arizona State last year and beat them.
I don't think, okay, playing one or two or even three of those Power 5 games is acceptable. I don't think she wants to load her schedule up.
Her schedule is not loaded. Listen, have you seen her? We went through her schedule. Her schedule is not loaded with Power 5 games.
But Southern don't look nothing like
Southern schedule is loaded with Power 5. Go ahead.
And she's saying she don't want to have to do that.
hold on. I want to add some context to this because I'm gonna meet both of y'all down the middle because I don't agree with her premise about playing that game because I'm gonna make a great point to both of y'all. I actually like the idea of playing the toughest non-conference slate that they play. Here's the different dichotomy of it. Scotty just brought up a point. I'm gonna bring it up to you, Rocky. Last season, she beat Grambling. Watch this though. Where did she beat them at, Scotty?
At Grambling.
Okay, then guess what? Coppin State just beat Arizona State. Where did they beat them at, Scotty?
At Coppin.
So that's 2 games that they both had them at home. They won those games. So the point that I've been making, what did I say? If we make the money, we won't be on the road day in and day out for a whole month, taking your legs from front of you to lose those games. Now you give yourself a greater chance if you have great attendance at home and you draw interest and you have, let's say you cut half those non-conference games to home games, you give yourself a better chance to win those games because
I agree with that completely, though.
Now watch this, because watch this. I'm gonna let you go. Just watch this because now we talk about data. One damn good data point because not only that, because even Grambling, the men's team, who was that they played? They played somebody else at home and beat them last year. It was a men's team though. The point that I'm getting at, and the data shows it. If you ain't on the road for a whole month straight, you give yourself odds to win those games. We're actually okay in basketball. I don't fall under the premise of saying we should schedule those games. No, you probably don't want to play, 4 ranked teams back to back, but it's even more deadly to you on the road. So again, and Mo Williams just kind of got to this on our side for the men's team, and I'm gonna be quiet. But the thing is, I part ways with her because it is competition. But again, when you get your head beat in on the road all those times, it is hard on your psyche. I get it. But then we have to do that because guess what? Football pays for everything else. We're not getting money any other way. So we have to take it the best way we can. If we were doing our part as alums, paying money, giving money to the school, and the SWAC conference was maximizing earning potential, the school was doing its part, and the money was coming like it's supposed to, then you can schedule half of those non-conference games for home games, and you give your team a better chance to win those damn games. Okay.
All right, last point, Rocky, before I let you go.
There's nothing else for me to say, bro. You said it the way it needs to be said, and I understand what y'all was complaining to me about Coach. But what Coach was saying was that she's in a position where her AD is expecting her to take those money games for the benefit of the school and the program. That's what I think she was complaining about.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
All right,
hey, appreciate the call, Rock.
All
right, let me see, Mrs. DeGratier, coming to you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, OFFSCRIPT.
How you doing, sir?
Good afternoon, Zos. Thank you so much for this great conversation. You all bring some truth, some facts, some knowledge to this space. So the football is not my area. I'm attached to football because I'm a band nerd. So, I go get a little bit of football with my band. But I got 2 questions for you all. I have been a fan and a supporter of OFFSCRIPT for many, many, many years. And we come to this topic very, very regularly. Like, where is the money? How do we get more money? To the schools, to the players, to the departments, to all the people, all the organizations that's participating in these things. I live in Atlanta, and I reap the benefits. The city of Atlanta and I reap the benefits of the Celebration Bowl and the MEAC SWAC challenges here every year. I love it. I get to see all these different teams come to my different city. I wanted to ask the question for you two. I have 2 questions for you all. So the first question is, would there be any benefit or any advantage or any thoughts for having something like the Celebration Bowl, the Championship Bowl, that moved around the region where different HBCUs, like, somewhere a little further out west, or something a little further up the East Coast, Virginia, or, Mississippi, would there be any benefits of just having a bowl game like this, different locations to capture different market, different fans, right? I sit here, we have Howard come down, playing the Celebration Bowl, but Howard ain't bringing no fans. But if the game was closer, would that be any benefit?
Listen,
the second question is, go ahead.
My personal opinion is if they're paying, I'm going. Like if the payout is reasonable, I'm going. Because at the end of the day, I don't know how the ticket sales and all that stuff works for the schools, and I don't understand none of that. Right? But if the bowl game is, if they're paying $4 or $6 million and it's split in $3 million, I'm gone. If it go to Dallas and they go up to 6 and you having a bidding war on this game, I'm taking the money every single time because I do not care about the fans who come and do not go. This is about the betterment of the schools and the institutions. I don't give a damn if there ain't nobody in the stands. I don't give a damn if the game is in Seattle, Washington. If they paying $10 million for the payout of conference, I'm taking it.
Well, the difference in this example that you gave, though, would be my question I was going to ask you was.
Hold on. Both of y'all. Hold on. Go ahead, Joe.
I was going to ask him. I was going to ask you, were you mentioning moving or rotating the game around different places, or were you talking about having more than one game in different areas?
Any notion right there. I'm just kind of throwing the idea, and it's a notion of trying to get more money, like Scotty was alluding to, what you alluded to earlier, like shopping it around and getting some more money.
Well, I'll say this: I wouldn't. I'm not now. I would move it but the thing of a city coming to say, "Hey, we want to take the Celebration Bowl and bring it here to like Baltimore," I highly doubt that's going to happen. But now sponsors, because then it can still stay in Atlanta. I'm not against moving it. For example, like if Atlanta said, we don't want to have Celebration Bowl and we want it in New Orleans, that's more, or we want it in Houston, things of that nature. I'm biased. Let me just go ahead and say it. I think it needs to be in the Deep South. I don't think from an attendance standpoint, it'll get there because I want both metrics. I want it to look good. And what I mean by that, because optics matter. When we're talking about a bowl game, the optics matter to me. I want a good attended game, but also pays well. And now, if I could get that wherever it's at, I'm going. I'll take it wherever it's at. So, I don't have a dog in the fight to answer your question. If they're gonna pay good and we still gonna attend it well, I don't care. But I just knowing how it is, I would still rather have Deep South because I know New Orleans, Houston, and Atlanta, it's still gonna be attended well. If it was in Miami, I don't think it'll be attended well in Miami. Just my own personal preference. I don't believe so.
Miami answer. But go ahead.
I'm Atlanta, so I advocated for it to be here. I just wanted to ask you all, get your thoughts on it. And the last question, I'll leave you all. Like we're talking about this money, transparency. This topic comes up a lot about why can't HBCUs get the money? And I just want to ask from your standpoint, so I'm gonna hang up after this. What can we do? Is there anything that we can do differently to help make that change? Because we talk about it, but what can we do to be about it? Hey, thanks. Hey, everybody hit that like button, get the support up. Appreciate y'all.
No problem. Appreciate it, Mr. Garcia. Listen, I think it's a philosophy thing, man. Like I believe, like, again, most of these are nonprofit, state institutions. So there is a level of transparency that has to be had. Audits and looking at budget requests and FOIAs, things like that. But I think a lot of it is a philosophy, right? Like, is your president or ADs, do they believe in transparency? Does your commissioner believe in transparency? Does your commissioner? Because if you think about it, the SEC and the Big Ten don't hire much. They let you know we getting this money and how we getting this money. And you get the contracts and you get all the you get all, literally there's an ESPN article breaking down how the contract is in place for the TV. Like who gets it, the games, all that is in the contract and you see it. But again, when we ask what's the numbers for the Celebration Bowl or what's the ESPN contract, everybody want to play dumb like they don't know they done signed a contract and nobody got the details, right? So again, it is a philosophy thing to where you have people in position that say, hey, our people need to know why our finances look this way and where our finances is coming from and what we need to do to get better and how we're going out and looking at this and getting this. That's how that's how the SEC is mad about their contract because they done saw the Big Ten get a Billy. So again, it's a part of a philosophy that, hey, we got to get better. Nobody. Go ahead, Zoe. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The only answer is transparency. When we get to particular things, it's a rabbit hole. And you can go in so many different avenues into whatever needs to happen for things to get better. And they're all true. It's a myriad of things, right? And they're all sometimes are very particular things because every institution in every state is tied to different things by way of their state, right? And so all things in those ways can be true. But the one thing that stands out above everything is transparency. Everything should be out there on Front Street. You know what I'm saying? If, for an example, let's just say the SWAC signs a deal with Amazon. The year and the financial, constraints of what that looked like should be out there. It shouldn't be secret. You know what I'm saying? And that should be a banner thing. That should be a talking point. That should be a thing that we should all highlight, right? Oh, the SWAC is going to be on Amazon Prime, or hey, the SWAC is going to be like the example I gave. Oh, they're tied to Walmart and Fubo Sports now. Oh, the SWAC got their own app. Oh, we got subscribed for it. Like all of that should be championed. You know what I'm saying? The financial ramifications of every decision should be out there because we're the greatest stewards of the conference. It's not the presidents. It's not even the players, believe it or not. It's the customer. It's the customer.
Good. That's good. That's good, Zo. That's good. All right, let's go. You got some time with you?
Oh, yeah, I'm good.
Okay. 8725 coming to you.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
We're doing well, man. What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name is Johnny Thornton. I'm calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
All right, what's up?
Zoe, Scotty, Joe, Zoe. I've enjoyed your commentary. You've been on the mark with a lot of things. What I want to add to it, to answer the other gentleman's question about moving around, and part of the feasibility, each city has different dynamics that make it a more attractive tourism place. Atlanta, Georgia is one of the most attractive tourism places for the African American community, or for everybody. Vegas is second. And so that has a lot to do with why the Celebration Bowl or other national championships Super Bowl keep ending up back in Atlanta. Now, you asked a question a few minutes ago, and I don't know if anybody answered. I put something in the chat, but I don't know if it got read. When you asked about what tangible happened since we've had the Celebration Bowl. Well, I have contended for 5 years that $1 million is chump change, because $1 million today just ain't what $1 million was 25 years ago. But whatever the little money that we are getting, if you take it back to each individual school, that is a tangible change. Now, is it one to jump up and down to be happy about? No. Or to be proud about? No, it isn't. But it is a tangible change. At North Carolina Central, when the minute the buzzer went off, when we beat Jackson State, man, I didn't mean to say that, but the minute the buzzer went off 2 years ago, the amount of applications that we got at our university was so vast that it actually blew the portal up in about 3 hours. They had to go back and rebuild it. You've hit on so many of the good points, and the only thing that I can add is, and something I've experienced myself with my own dear alma mater, is what I'm seeing is the universities educate, train, and develop brilliant people like you, right? And me, you and I. But they fail to receive our expertise and guidance when we have information that can help move the needle along in the positive direction. It's clear to me your marketing acumen is the real deal. I saw your football acumen and your street talk trash acumen the other day, and it just tickled me to death when you was talking about why Jackson would win. But I don't know what you do for a living, but you did your homework when you were in school. The problem is, at all of our HBCUs, us alums got to figure out a way to demand that we become an integral part of managing the school on a day-to-day. And now that we have cyber, we have the internet, we have connectivity, it can easily be done. I just got off the phone with one of my ABs before I got on this call with school business. It can easily be done. And that's what's got to happen. And you've said something else, though, I want to reiterate. Alums and supporters, we've got to quit yapping and put our money where our mouths is. Move as a Black community, move away from this cars, clothes, and hoes mentality, and understand that we need to be investing for the long haul, for legacy. we have to show everyone else the value of our product. And that's what we have to do on that side of the coin. So what I want to do, I got Mr. Campbell's number. I want to hook up with you because we've got to figure out a way again where the people who aren't in the room like us, but we can get in the room through our communications and our persistency to take a practice from the federal government.
Okay, sorry. That was just taking too long. Gotta get to the point. Okay, listen, this is my thing, right? You're only going to get in the room if the people want you in the room. You're not going to get in the room if the people don't want you in the room. If I call up Ashley Robinson and say, I got a good idea, Ashley, and he say, I don't want to hear it, he don't got to hear it. If I call up the president and say, hey, I got a damn good idea, I got this, if they don't want to hear it, they don't want to hear it. So listen, you can have all the ideas that you want. It's not an individual. It takes an embodiment. It takes a movement of people to make a shift. It takes an alumni chapter, an alumni group, a group of influencers in the school or a big enough booster to make those changes. But again, if they don't want you in the room, they will not allow you in the room. Zoe, you have any comments?
Two things. First thing is to echo what you said. You can't create urgency when it's met with snails enthusiasm. You can't put your enthusiasm or your passion on everybody else. That's the first thing. He made some great points, and it's true. He said a lot of true things, but they'll curb your enthusiasm. That's the first thing. But second thing, I always say this. I say it all the time. Let's see here right now. God gave you $10 million. You hit the lottery just like this. And you say you're finna build your house and you move into it today. You can't put everything you want in your house today. Even with that $10 million. You can't. So the issue is we deal with, what I'm saying? That's why I say it's a myriad of things. It's the I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say this. I know I'm gonna get in trouble, but one thing I do is we're gonna cut the fluff. At ISBCU, we deal with a lot of nigga shit. First off, is dealing with nigga shit.
That's fact. That's fact.
You the book.
You the book.
Second thing is, what I mean, and there are good people at all of our institutions that's doing the work. That is doing the work, but that's one person or it's two people. It takes everybody. Everybody got to be moving in the same direction. You know what I'm saying? Then that's just one institution. Then you got another institution. You know what I'm saying? Well, you know what I'm saying? You got a whole bunch of chiefs and no Indians, and vice versa.
Yeah.
But it's a myriad of things. You know what I'm saying? Then we ain't got to the financials. You know what I'm saying? Because again, everybody's under the guidelines of different states, different guidelines and different things, how they're being handcuffed.
Yeah.
It's a myriad of things. But at the end of the day, you still got to show up every day with some want to make the change. Now, even in all that construct, because I do want to say this, if don't nobody get nothing else, the SWAC is doing some good things. They are. But we ain't nowhere near what we can be. That's what we're getting at. That's what we're getting at. But to answer your question, there's a whole lot of nigga shit going on.
Hey, listen, the Celebration Bowl in Vegas, you can't tell me if niggas ain't going. You can't tell me if you put the Celebration Bowl in Vegas that niggas ain't going. I'm in there, okay? What? In Vegas?
But see, now watch this. Now, I'm going to be there too, but Vegas is how far from you? Watch this. How far is Vegas from you? It's a good way, and you got to fly to get there. Well, just watch this. I'm gonna be there, and yeah, it's gonna be packed. But then that same energy and enthusiasm, we got to go to Vegas. You can do on a day-to-day to your school and your program. That's all that I'm saying. See how that work? See how that work?
Listen, I look at it like this, right? If you have it, real quick, stay with me real quick. You do it in Vegas. The hotel rooms aren't really that expensive, you know, because it is a lot. It's a lot to choose from. It's a lot to choose from. You know what I'm saying? And it's something new. You know what I'm saying? It's I mean, at least if you do it for like a 3-year contract or whatever, it's something new. It's different. Go to Vegas, different team, different support. You know, man, listen, Vegas is not a bad look. And then
I like it.
Yeah, I'm in there. I'll be in there.
No, the point I'm making is I like it and I'll be there. But what I'm saying is you got the fly to get there, you're gonna be there. What I'm saying is that bread that you're gonna be spending there, that same bread, because the point I'm getting at, it's gonna be packed.
Yeah.
But then we can have some day in and day out for every member institution. Ain't no reason why you should be giving and doing your part, because you're gonna spend that money and go to Vegas. You're gonna spend that money and go wherever else. You can be getting that bread, and then your school ain't got to be in the shape that it's in. That's the point that I'm getting.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, let's go to another caller. 7770 coming to you. 7770. You live.
Yo.
What's your name? Where you come from?
Yo, this Nate calling from Georgia. Hey, I'm gonna be real quick. Love the topics, love the conversation. I'm just wondering when the Off Script and Zoe weekly show coming.
Yeah, you sound like my wife. My wife she's been asking me about it. She's like, you gonna do a show with us? I was like, I don't know, man. But you know, I'm pivoting. You know, maybe Zoe can come with me when I pivot. You know what I'm saying? We might talk about some Conference USA. You know what I'm saying? So it's possible.
Nah, dude, this would be a way. You can still pivot, but this would be a way to keep your foot, you know, still in this space. I just think that when y'all two get together, it just brings a lot of insight, and you know, it's obvious from the response that you get from the conversation that the connection is there. So I'm just wondering, you know, when y'all gonna be able to make that official.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. You know what I'm saying? We'll talk about it.
Hey, Zo, I got a question for you.
Shoot.
I know a lot of the topics, man, you could be getting your perspective from the Jackson State, you know, on the revenue side, and with the, you know, the low attendance from this past championship game. What was the revenue that came out of the prime area during those two championships games? Like, you know, what was the overall kind of the amount that they brought in for those two games?
I don't know the exact number, but we did. I think we hit. I can remember that first game we hit by like a shade over 40, and then the last game we hit. No, I got it backwards. We 40 the Southern game. First game per I think it was like what 37, 38, something like that. It was just under 40. But in the Southern game in 2022, I think it was like 43, 42, something like that.
Okay, so from those particular games, y'all generated a good amount of revenue. What could you say that, you know, some of that went to as far as program wise? Did any of that get implemented to the things that got brought to Jackson State from those particular two games?
I couldn't say. I couldn't say what it actually went to. Now, I would say what we did Saturday was on par, though we had less numbers because of what we charged. You know, minimum ticket Saturday was $50, but you get $70 tickets and $90 tickets, right? And so it was pretty much on par. But in regards to what we did, I can't speak to that. I don't know. But I can say tangibly there's things done. Like I mentioned about I think we're only one of two teams in the whole entire conference that does cost of attendance in basketball for men and women. You know what I'm saying? I know football does that, you know, and then also I look at what we do from a basketball standpoint, financial wise, what they've done, you know what I'm saying, off the court, you know what I'm saying, with regards to, you know, getting a new team lounge, renovating. There have been some facility upgrades that they've done, plus having a training table. Let me just say this. They have a training table separate for women's basketball, men's basketball, and men's football.
Oh, wow.
So, like I said, there are other tangible things there. Maybe the masses don't see it, but I can actually speak to those. Then you talk about, you know, how they travel, you know, so those are tangible things. But again, to answer your question, is everything from those games going to that? I can't say. because I can't sit there and say, and not to minimize what actually done, because a good portion of that, some of the work that A.D. Robinson has done.
Gotcha. And the only reason I bring it up because Jackson is, ever since primaries, you guys have been in the limelight, and so I would think you guys were able to actually benefit for revenue-wise from just the star power, the limelight, being in 3 out of the last 4 championship games. I just want to see how that kind of those funds trickle down to where we can actually see some things, coming towards, your institution. But
well, I'll say this: from the limelight didn't do anything financial for us, but bring more eyes, per like social media, things of that nature. Like what we did attendance-wise was done pre-prime, and that's when we were losing. I mean, matter of fact, we averaged more in 2019 than what we averaged this year.
Wow, that's crazy.
In 2019, we led the conference in attendance with 38,000 people. We were 4-8.
Wow.
That was before prime. So, but we weren't winning. But we did, say Celebration Bowl actually, it helps. So you're talking about an extra million. But to answer your question, outside of that, what tangible it was or how it was dispersed, I can't speak to that. I don't know, and I'll be lying to you.
Gotcha. Well, again, man, appreciate you guys. Appreciate you too. Love the content. OFFSCRIPT. Again, Zoe, I think y'all need to continue this a weekly show every 2 weeks. Something I don't know, but y'all gotta that chemistry of y'all conversation. I really enjoy it. So every time, especially when I see you on here, Zoe, I follow OFFSCRIPT a lot. I just like to get your insight. And I think outside of the Jackson State content, when you're able to talk overall HBCU and other things, I think you give a lot of insight. So just appreciate that.
I appreciate that, man. We get that all the time too.
Yeah, we do. We really do. Let me see. I want to go to Rocky. Listen, we know that ESPN owns the Celebration Bowl. We understand that. My thing is this: is that if you have an opportunity to break away, and because listen, whatever the SWAC and the MEAC do, they're going to do together, right? Because they see the benefit of the game. Now, the MEAC and SWAC challenge, I wouldn't touch that. I'll let ESPN event. I'll let them have that. Y'all can do that. But the Celebration Bowl, I would take that away from them, and I would pitch it to sponsors, to whomever. But man, listen, if you can get a nice little payout around 8 million, 6 to 8 million, maybe 10 million. For the and you split that per conferences, like 4 million, 5 million, whatever per conference. That's not a bad chunk of change, man. And then the winner get 4 million, and the conference splits the million with the other schools. What they did in the old Celebration Bowls, like you got to make the winner feel like they won. You know what I'm saying? Like I won 4 million. Now imagine NCAT winning 3 Celebration Bowls and winning $4 million every single. That is 6. That you see what I'm saying? Like we gotta get in that boat, not to where you win 2 million and 1 million conference, 1 million, and we split this million. It's like a single mom with 8 kids, and the dad who got 1 kid with the baby mama. He get his daughter McDonald's, and she gotta split it with her brothers and sisters. And he's like, no, I got that for my kid. That's my kid. That's my kid McDonald's, right? Like that's what the SWAC is doing with the $1 million payout. It's like the kid got like Jackson goes and wins, right? We definitely don't want that. But Jackson goes, right? And let's say they win. They gotta split their nuggets with everybody in the conference. And it's 12 nuggets. It's 12 Bamas. Man, nah, man, that's not cool.
That's a bad analogy. That's your version of saying "I'd happy."
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like, what we doing? Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. So to me, like, if you're so stuck on where it's at and not stuck on the payout, you're in the wrong business. I'm
gonna say this, man, and just me as a person, I live by the mantra. Don't tell me all the ways I can't do something. Show me how I can. And so I think a lot of times we're so quick to, because it's like anything else, man. It's quick to tell somebody what you don't like about them as opposed to tell them what you do like about them, right? And I think it's we kind of all live in it, right? And so when we talk about these types of things or give different types of examples of how we can flourish and how we can thrive, we keep met head on with this can't happen and this won't work and they can't do this. And it's like you don't have a no for every single thing. Give me a crack or give me a chink in the armor or show me a pathway to where I can do something. Because guess what? Damn it, there's a pathway to do something.
Yeah.
And this opportunity right now that the SWAC has, we got a pathway to find some damn success, to thrive, to make more revenue, to make our institutions better. Because last time I checked, that's the whole premise of the damn thing. You know what I'm saying? It ain't just about, putting us on TV or whatever case may be. It's to thrive. We don't want to exist. We want to live. We want to thrive. And so show us a pathway. And that's what I'm saying. Instead of all the negativity, man, let like minds, creative minds get together and say, I thought about this. Maybe, because guess what? If it don't work, damn it, you can always go back to doing what we're doing. Point blank, period. But damn it, let's give it a go or give it a try at something.
Yeah, I like that. Let me go to a number I haven't seen before. 0265 coming to you.
What's up, Scotty? How you doing?
What's up, man? What's your name? Where you come from?
This Travis.
What's up, T?
Not much, Scotty, but great conversation. Just want to add a couple of things. Number one, most schools operate out of one account, meaning that everything, except for some ticket sales and athletics, but most of the school operate out of one big account. So that's the problem. We got to separate those accounts and separate those balances. And then two, I think Zoe hit on it too. We got to teach schools how to use a ticket revenue sales to invest back into the school. Most states will allow a school like Jackson State or SCSU or Savannah State to use a ticket sales to start renovations or to buy or to participate in bond activities to get things done across the campus, particularly with athletics. That's why a lot of schools are now partnering with other state agencies such as hospitals or medical universities to get certain things done for training and team medical assistance. And I think also too is that we got to get out of this mindset too. Is that one? The third thing I think we need to definitely consider doing NIL. We got to figure out how can we get that done at HBCU level, and then also too, most alums that come to the table, they don't want to help the school. They want to make money off the school. That's what I see a lot when I have worked at these schools, and I chime out for your comments.
I think I know you guys have a pretty good NIL collective at Jackson. For me, I don't think every HBCU, I don't think every HBCU can pull it off. And I'm not mad if you don't. My thing is there's enough kids that play the game of football that will come to your institution. You just have to do the due diligence to find the ones that can play. And there's enough kids that are coming from D2 that want the opportunity to play Division I football that will come to your institution without NIL payments. But if all you're looking at is the Bamas coming from Power 4 who are getting paid and now they're going to a lower level and they feel they're better than you, you're going to have to pay them
on a rental.
Because all they waiting to do is jump back up. Right? So again, I'm not saying that NIL is bad, but me, if I was running a university, I would never pay a first-year player to come to my institution. All my NILs will start on the second-year player. You have to invest in my program for me to invest in you. So for me, I would have been paying, like, I want the younger people to look at the older classmen who are getting paid, the seniors, the juniors who've been there for 2 or 3 years, and for them to be like, man, if you put in the work at the institution, you will be rewarded because we will want you to stay. But we ain't paying no first-year player. Like, I don't care how good you are. We're not paying you. That would be my philosophy, but that's just me. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm gonna give her a slippery slope here too. We talk about NIL, but let me tell everybody, don't get comfortable with that either, because we don't even know if NIL will be a thing next season. The NCAA is making changes every month. And so, yeah, players will get paid, right? We do know that. But if you look at the FBS level, and they separate it from Group of Five, Power Four, I'm saying.
Yeah.
So the schools pay them directly. They're not getting paid by NIL. They still have NIL evaluation, but as of January 1st, they're going to start getting paid by the schools themselves.
Yep.
That's the difference. They're not getting paid by NIL. Now, can they get in NIL? Sure, they can, but that won't be the mainstream of their revenue. Instead of they put that in on purpose because they're going to be employees of the school and going to pay taxes on their yoga too. So again, we don't know what this is going to look like because it's changing. And that's the problem I'm having in some of the decisions that we're making because we're staying pat and we're not doing anything. And I'm saying in this climate, you have to be offensive. You have to be offensive and you have to be about the business of taking care of business. And it doesn't appear that we're doing so.
And honestly, so I talked to a coach from a Power 4 school, and he said, Scotty, the salary cap is coming. He said it's literally a salary cap. He said you're going to have a few 6 to 10 players that make above 6 figures, and then you're going to have the majority of your team in that, that 50,000, 40,000, because they're able to get money off the revenue that is generated by the sport of football. So again, going back to Zoe's point, if the conference is thriving and you're able to disseminate 20, 30 million per school, right? 15, 20 million per school. And that school is able to take $1 million from the distribution and have an NIL program. Are you really hurting anybody, right? Because I'm not asking the alums to fund it. It's just revenue generated. We've split it to the side. We've put a budget to the side. However, Jackson might be $3 million and FAMU might be $4 million and UAPB me about $1 million because they're like, hey, we try to keep all this money. Valley might be 500,000. Like every school can do their own budget because that's what the NCAA lets you do. However you disseminate the money you generate is on you. So it goes back to what you're able, as Zoe has said, are you thriving? And are you able to get the money that you feel that you deserve in your time and space? Let me see where we at. Let me go 3475. FAMU KJ, I see you. Bridges, I see you. Coach Pep, I see you. 7034, I see you as well. 3475 coming to you.
What's going on, Scotty?
What's up? What's your name? Where you calling from?
What's going on?
Ricardo calling from Atlanta.
Oh God. What's up, Ricardo?
Oh, just let me say something, man, before you cut me off. Okay.
You still talking, right?
Oh yeah, I didn't know. Listen, I heard a few people. I came in late. I heard a few people saying something about separating athletics from the school budget. You're not going to be able to do that because 99% of the athletics don't make money. Okay. I'll take a few. Most schools charge between $20,000 to $25,000 per student. If you do not average more than 25,000 at a football game, you can't fund your not your athletic department, but you can't pay for the kids to go to school there. So the school is subsidizing athletics.
Okay. Most PWIs are running the red as well, right?
Yeah, a lot of them are. Some of them aren't, but a lot of them are. What a lot of them do that we don't do is they charge a lot of student fees
to balance it out. Yep. Got you. Okay.
So if you don't have at least 25,000 seat stadium, you can't pay for your athletics. So don't go to where you're thinking that the school is stealing money from the athletic department. Jackson State, it costs $10,000 just for the students to go to school there. Football will pay for everybody. Basketball should pay for itself. The football team pays for everybody else. But if you got a 10,000 seat stadium, you're in the hole every year. And that's my opinion on that.
Now, to your point, Basketball should. Basketball, you only have 3 revenue generating sports, and only a rare few anomalies in baseball. But that's a select few schools, right? But that's none on the FCS level and none definitely for HBCU. So with that, you only have 3 revenue generating sports: football, men's basketball, women's basketball. And I can tell you right now, when we talk about basketball, revenue generating sport, and on the HBCU space, it's only really a handful of them is actually getting the actual attendance to actually generate itself. Football is funding a good portion of our basketball programs. That's fact. Women's basketball, same thing. And football is funding everything. So to your point, it's not necessarily always a threshold. Now, most of your schools who have a 10,000 seat stadium or smaller pretty much are at a certain admissions point, and attendance is different. Jackson State is an anomaly because of our attendance is hover around 8,000. We just happen to draw better, but everybody else who has their own stadium, the actual threshold I want to say is not 25,000. It's actually less than that, but it's around 18.5 or something like that. It's under 20,000, but you got to hit that threshold. If you're not hitting it, it's a problem, and it's a problem for what you're gonna do. For all the sports, it's not football. If you're doing less than that, it's going to take care of itself. But it's the fact that we fund everything. And if you're not hitting that number, then you're going to be in the red. And that's why basketball traveling the way they do in all these money games. And I don't know if y'all know this, and I'll be quiet, Scotty. I don't know if y'all know like the amount of money, because basketball guarantees is not the same as football guarantees. I hope y'all know that. Basketball guarantees like you get a game near $50,000. $35,000, $40,000. Those are basketball guarantees. I hope y'all, it's not football numbers. I need y'all to know that. It's a whole different ball game. I need y'all to know that. I don't think most people know that.
Lord.
A high-paying basketball guarantee is $50,000, or the most you'll probably get is $75,000. That's the highest you'll get. You're talking about 50, 35,000, 25,000. Those are basketball guarantees.
Well, I'm gonna give you my opinion on basketball. I looked at some numbers. You have to average between 3,500 and 4,000 attendees per game at $15 a ticket for the basketball team to pay for itself. That's just to pay for the students' scholarships. And most people aren't hitting anywhere near that. We ain't getting 3,000 nowhere. So I think one thing that you have to do to get there is that you got to play more games at home. I mean, I understand that, going on the road, but you got to have something to get the people excited about before the conference play starts. And Jackson State's been on the road for the last 3 years. We ain't had a home game in 3 years. So how you going to be excited about them, when the season starts, when conference play starts?
I get it. I do. But in the like the Norfolks and the Jacksons with Tamika, the brand of the football was so good that it generated interest, even though they were on the road as heavy as they were playing Power 5 teams, because one, their program has an expectation of winning those games, especially when Texas came to Jackson. That was a big time game, right? But the program has been built to a level of where the excitement for the program is what generated the people coming to watch and things like that. So even if you had a lot of these, like I think Alabama State had USC come in with Bronny, like that's a big time game. Like, at home and all. Okay, cool. That's great. You want to have those games. But it didn't mean Alabama State's men's basketball was good, or you had an expectation for them to be good to go.
That was an agreement. And that was an agreement. That's when they had the SWAC Pac-12.
The battle. And the SWAC was winning a lot of those games, right? But again, like Grambling is going to have an excitement for their basketball team for what they did last year, and now coming into this year, having their players return and things. So again, you have to build a program that brings interest. It's not just being at home, because you can be at home and still not have attendees, because nobody likes your program. So again, it's a blending of both. It is having interest and having a winning program. And then also, like you said, bringing in those Power 4 games inside and have them, you and Zoe both said it, having those Power 4 games come to your crib and bringing the eyeballs and playing them at a high level and stuff like that. So I think it goes both ways. But for me, you got to build a program that's respected to where people want to come watch and see you win.
Well, the main difference in it, too, to echo your point, Scotty, is that, you know, you want to have it where you're getting away from the money game. So by not having those, right, those games, you're still going to play road games and you're still going to play tough games on the road. It's D1 basketball as it is anyway. What you're trying to offset with, if everything was fair and everything was equal and we're sitting good, right, and you're just doing it, then you will offset you wouldn't have money games. You'll play some games on the road, but what you're doing by this point is you're scheduling games that's of great interest, and you can have those at home. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about playing like ULL at home. You're talking about playing, you know what I'm saying, McNeese at home. You see what I'm saying? Those are out-of-conference games, good quality games. Arkansas State, you can play those at home. And so instead of you playing a whole month on the road, you're mixing, if you got 12 non-conference games, you got 6 games at home and 6 games on the road. Instead of just 12, 13 games on the road, and here you're starting out, you're 1-10 or you're 0-11 going to conference play. It's a big damn difference.
Yeah,
it's a big damn difference.
That's fair. All right, you good, Mr. Ricardo? I didn't cut you off. You need anything?
I'm gonna ask Zoe one thing. Can I ask him one thing before I go?
Go ahead.
Zoe, when you talk to Ashley Robinson next time, the way they're doing this women thing, I don't like it. Why don't you tell them, say, hey, why don't you try flipping the games instead, next season? Let the girls play, second on one night, and let the guys play first.
I don't think it's a Ashley Robinson thing. I think the SWAC is doing it as a whole.
Yeah, I think didn't they get away from double headers? Like the women's play on a certain night and then the men's play on a certain night as well.
It's the whole thing. The women's play on one day and the men play on the other day. It's not an Ashley Robinson thing.
Okay, I just wanted to throw that out there. Appreciate y'all.
All right,
no problem. Never go.
All right, I'm gonna lock
the conference has been locked.
I'm gonna lock the conference, and whoever's in here is who's in here now. All right, so we're gonna go FAMU KJ. I'm gonna go straight up the line. FAMU KJ, Bridges, Copep, JB, and then 70-34. That's how we're gonna end this thing out. FAMU KJ, you first.
All right, what's up, fellas?
What's good?
Hey, let me just throw this out. Okay, one of the things I heard you guys talking about the money games and the issues, especially with basketball, football a little bit too, but in basketball. One of the issues is the problem with the money game is this right here. Let's say, for example, I'm given a budget of, okay, I got to bring in $700,000. My first 12 games, I can get that, and I'm going to probably get, let's say I get $900,000, okay? The $200,000 that I have in excess, the problem is the basketball coach can't keep that. So the issue becomes, one, the type of coaches that we bring in, some of them don't even know that. So they don't realize that until the second, third year that, hey, I'm fighting. I brought in a $200,000 more, but I can't keep the money. So they don't put that in the contract to be able to say that if I go excess over whatever the budget is, I keep the money. The problem with HBC, they can't keep the money. So you got a repetitive issue with the programs being underfunded. So, and that becomes, that's been going on for the last 40 years.
Okay, hold on. So let me get this straight. So you're saying that if they got to close the gap of 700, let's just use a smaller number, say $500,000, right? Just keep it whole.
Right.
They gotta close the budget on $500,000. They get them. They use the basketball Power 5 games to get to that $500,000. They're not able to keep anything over the $500,000, or they're not able to keep any of it.
You're talking about general fund. All the money is going to the. I'm assuming,
okay, go ahead, Zoe.
I'm assuming that he's saying the money is going to the general fund. So even the overage that I have, you see what I'm saying, that I got, that I don't have access to it, that is going to, I'm paraphrasing, that he's going to the general fund, and that $200,000 that I should be having for my usage for my program, I don't have access to it. I believe that's what he's saying.
Exactly. And so now you have a constant issue of the coaches now realizing, man, I'm scheduling and we are here barnstorming, and I can't even keep the money for my program.
And so that's a repetitive issue that goes on and on. That's why basketball is always under. It doesn't have the type of recruiting budget, the nutrition, recovery, all those kind of different things are still subpar because of. So that's when you see guys get to the tournament, they have lost 30 pounds or 20 pounds because of nutrition and recovery. All those kind of different things that they have gone and did all this hustling and traveling the country or whatever, and they can't keep the money.
Well, let me see.
This is the elephant in the room that I hope that Scotty you can sit down and have a full discussion. Title IX has been devastating to HBCUs, and let me explain what it has done now. And this, everybody kind of want to skirt around it because you don't want the smoke from it. But the issue is this right here. When you look at the history of HBCUs, our student bodies have been 65-35, 70-30, female to male. When you have that, you have to now fund your athletic programs based on that student body population. So that's why when you're looking at right now, you have 15 or 16 sports, 9 of them are female, 6 are male, right? And with that, you have to now fund whatever that student body, you have to fund 60% of those sports. And so what that has done now to HBC, it's devastated us. And nobody wants to discuss it. It's taboo. But we got to realize women's softball, all these other, they don't provide money. And I understand, guys get upset. Hey man, my daughter's an athlete. She should be. That's true. But when we're talking about market and we're talking about a business, it's devastated us. And I hope, man, that's Scotty. That's a great show. I hope that you can put something together like that. Get your ADs and let's talk openly about the seriousness of what Title IX has done.
What you guys know?
I'm gonna say this: Title IX is not the problem. Now, I'm gonna tell you why. Title IX, for the most part, every sport, because Title IX pretty much runs to women's sports. They're non-revenue generating sports, and they aren't costly sports. They aren't costly sports. And guess what? Being that they're in school, I know people will say, well, they got to fund those scholarships. Well, you got to fund scholarships at school for the school anyway. So that's not the issue. Those sports are not expensive sports to have, especially when you talk about bowling ain't expensive. And everybody's in bowling is not on scholarship. Bowling's not expensive, not an expensive sport. Hold on. Bowling is not an expensive sport. Track and field is not an expensive sport. And let me say this too. From an HBCU standpoint, we don't even offer the sports. When you talk about where Title IX could be an issue cost-wise, like FBS programs, right? We don't have gymnastics and swim team and everything else. We don't, in a myriad of sports. We're talking about 16 to 18 sports that we have, right? Because let's keep it a book. Most schools on the HBCU level, they only got women's soccer just so they can meet the Title IX requirements. Nobody in the SWAC really has men's soccer. You see what I'm saying? So those aren't expensive sports. What the young lady actually posted is dead on. It comes down to funding and the allocating of funding. So, for example, if you actually reach a peak to your example up in sports, just overall in the fun, you need a coach who can get with his AD to say, hey, bro, this year, we need to allocate more from this at the beginning of the fiscal year, to allocate those funds for basketball for XYZ. And I can show, proof of receipt of whatever it is. But no, man, Title IX, Title IX is not.
You can't do that by law, though.
Huh?
He cannot go and ask for more funding if the student body population does not allow that.
You can allocate more funding when I don't want to say this, but I have firsthand experience with this in a personal way. And I'm trying to talk in code, but I was dealing personally with in athletics by way of Georgia Tech. I'm well versed in how this goes. Trust me when I tell you, where I dealt with it day to day. So when it comes to this funding, you can actually, Athletics has a budget, right? At the beginning of the year, and year end starts in the summer. All right. When the new year begins, they can go then and allocate funding for basketball that year. Has nothing to do with Title IX. Whatever funding is set up for Title IX, you're correct. You cannot take from that. They have to deviate funds for Title IX and how they're going to do that. It's not just by way of the population. That's part of it. But they allocate funds, whatever that population is, they allocate funding for that. Athletics has a budget, and they divvy up the budget. This is going to go to basketball. So a coach can go to say, hey, for athletics, I need to take probably, like, watch this, more for basketball. We'll give a little less to bowling. That's not taking away from Title IX. You can do that. You can have a coach do that. Because guess what? Just because they get a surplus, right? We talk about the bowl game. I'm going to give you an example. Like Scotty said, we got $4 million from this bowl game now. That money doesn't just automatically go to Title IX. When you have a surplus, you get to distribute the surplus however you're going to distribute it, divvy it up to. Point blank, period. And this is without going to an athletic fee. So Title IX is not the problem. It's not.
Like I say, let Scotty, that's a great show, man. I hope we can really have an open discussion, man. That is just something to put out there that we can talk about it, and you can have some other experts, man, to come in and give their opinion on that. I appreciate you, Zoe.
Hey, no problem.
I think that's a great show, man, to be, because even right now, some of the big wigs are saying they still don't know how Title IX is going to affect them, because you're going to have some lawsuits now. Because you're seeing, I know they're saying NIL is supposed to be totally separate, but you're already starting to see many women's sports are lining up saying they're not getting their fair share of NIL money. And I mean, I think that's just going to be a big thing. But man, I appreciate you letting me talk. I'll get off and we'll go from there, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Go ahead.
One last thing, and I'll be sure, Scotty. Yes, that I was going to get to that. Yes, the whole thing about when they went to Capitol Hill and everything, and it's true and it's right, because when it came to NIL, old girl at LSU, she's the second highest paid athlete in all of sports.
Gymnastics, right?
And she's in gymnastics. The thing was, all the women get lost in the shuttle for non-revenue generating sports. When you talk about billions of dollars coming in, and football players are going to get paid, all basketball is going to get paid, and women were going to get left out of the fluff. And that was what they wanted. They were, hey, we got Title IX over here. We just want to make sure that the women are taken care of when all these extra billions are coming in for all these men. And true. And that's what they were focusing on. And they just wanted to make sure if any of that money came in, that women were, because it's not going to be right for, look, they know football players don't get their money, and they know they're going to get paid directly. It ain't right for all these football players and basketball players to be getting millions and millions and millions of dollars, and women are getting nothing. I know people say, well, they don't generate revenue, but again, they're athletes putting in time in the sport, just like how Title IX was created for the same thing. And so they wanted to make sure they weren't left out with nothing.
Well, this was always my issue when it came to football players and basketball players not able to make money off their name, image, and likeness, is because, golf players were able to go pro, and go back to college. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't like, even if they they couldn't play the sport anymore after they went pro, but how easy it was to, for tennis to go pro and swimmers to go to the Olympics, and all those things they were able to do and be able to be a part of, that football players and basketball players were not so much able to make money off of. And they weren't making money because it's still amateurism, but I don't know, man. I think it's, do I think that I think it should be by school basis, to where how you're paying women in NIL, because it's like the LSU gymnastic program is pretty big. The Georgia, the UCLA, they have some pretty big gymnastics programs, and those girls probably bring in revenue, even though it's a non-generating sport. Sure. So I got something to give back to you. The reason that football players are even getting paid is because we're bringing in billions and we ain't touching nothing, and we can't make no money off of our stuff. Why should a sport that doesn't bring in revenue get paid from you and bring in nothing? That don't make sense to me. I'm gonna pay you out of something you didn't bring in.
So to your point, remember I spoke to this earlier when I said, it's football, men's basketball, women's basketball, and I said occasionally you'll have an anomaly like baseball, but it's only a few. Mississippi State, for example, they restricted the scholarship limits. It was like 20 scholarships, and they had to split those, right? But Mississippi State, man, they're getting like 15,000 fans a game. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So of course they can, they can function on its own. You know what I'm saying? But you're talking about LSU can do it, Mississippi State can do it. It's only like about 6 baseball programs that can do it. Everybody else can't. You see what I'm saying? So to your point, it's like, but again, because of Title IX, and I get it. So that's why I thought, okay, we want to make sure women are left behind. And look, I'm not gonna is grasping at straws, but I get it. But the main thing I just want to reiterate: no, Title IX is not an issue when it comes to funding. Say our programs. No, we have money there. You know what I'm saying? It's just allocating the funds. And again, to your point, if we get a surplus, damn it, that surplus is becoming us.
I like this analogy. It's just like the NBA versus WNBA. The NBA loses money every year because of the WNBA, but they still want to be paid like the NBA. I like good. Granted, I'm gonna say this. I feel like South Carolina, UConn, them girls should get whatever they want. You know what I'm saying? Women, they should get what Tennessee, all those major programs, you pay them accordingly because of what they're able to bring in. UConn and that women's basketball program has brought in millions for UConn. South Carolina, millions.
Okay, I tell you what. Watch this. I just want to ask you something.
Yeah.
You said South Carolina, right? But I'm gonna give you a real good example, and you tell me how you would do it because I don't know. To your point, I'm gonna use Tamika Reed and Charlotte. Right?
Okay.
Charlotte isn't good right now. They just hired, she had great success at Jackson State,
Mhm.
but they averaged less fans than what Jackson State averaged last year. Okay. So let's say how and what does that look like as she trends forward? Because like right now, under the guys you're saying, let's just say none of her players are getting paid.
Yeah.
She's just not starting to recruit, she's just starting to build. So you tell me, I don't know, you tell me what that look like as she build. Let's say in 4 to 6 years.
Yeah, 3-4 years.
3 to 4 years, she's built it in, like the attendance going up. So I'm saying, how does the payments go, and what you give me an example of what that should look like? Because I'm gonna use that as, because right now how you saying South Carolina, but South Carolina to Dunn got there.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, how would they look like to transition from not paying to paying?
Well, I think I think how I would look is if I'm comparing myself to UConn, right? Like, so if I'm Tamika Reed at Charlotte and I'm seeing how they're paying their girls at UConn, I'm like, hey, listen, when we get to a certain level where we're generating this, or we can bring in this is how I would want to pay my girls, or this is how I would do it. If it's a stipend, if it's a $500 stipend, $1,000 stipend on top of the cost of attendance, nothing crazy, what I'm saying? And if one of my girls are able to build a brand, that she can go market herself to whomever and however she gets her own sponsorships, but, or if Tamika Reed is able to go out into the Charlotte area and get a business to sponsor the team and all those little things that sponsor girls on the team. But, I think if from where she is now and say 3 to 4 years, she gets it to where she had at Jackson, playing high level, winning conference championships, then you pay your girls a stipend, of whatever you're able to bring in and however it's divvy up. So, because I look at it like this, what you're bringing in now. You know what you're making now, which, if you got 2,000 fans at $15 a pop, blah, 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 you making that. You start winning championships, now the tickets done went up to $45, and now you sitting 5,000 or 7,000 people. It's a difference. So, it's like Colorado with Dion. You went from ain't nobody in that joker to now your tickets is $500. So how about this? Y'all keep the $15 ticket. Like when y'all was getting $15, y'all keep that 15. Everything above that come to my girls. Cause you breaking even. You was breaking even on that 15 at 2,000. But at that 30 and more, I'm gonna need all that for my girls. You know what I'm saying? So just a little something slight like that. Just a little something slight. All right, Bridget's coming to you. Hey, keep it short. Nothing too long. We got to keep it moving.
All right, I'm gonna keep it short, man. Just to solve all that is just winning. That's all you gotta do just to solve all that money problem. I know it's harder than said than done, but just win. You go a step at a time and win. Like you can solve all that money problem. But Scotty, like the thing that you was talking about earlier, as far as people having secrets and stuff, is like we just need better people in front that can be transparent.
Yeah.
Like, right, like just stop hiding all the crap. Like we need to take these people that's in the office, we need to kick them out and have people that's for everybody, not just for alumni, not just for the people that's working at desk, not just for one entity. It needs to be for everybody. That's why, like you talk about Obama all the time. Obama, even though we say, oh, he was black people president, he was for everybody. He wasn't just for the black people. He was for the white people. He was for respect. He was for everybody. So we need to have more people like that in office so we can see these numbers and we can get better deals. So I'm gonna just leave it at that, short and sweet, man.
I appreciate it, man. I disagree. It ain't just winning, because winning ain't easy. Winning, listen, unless you playing in the SWAC with all first-year coaches, winning ain't easy. Okay, let's just be very clear. It is not easy. So just to be like, like Al Davis, just win, baby. Like I listen, it's not as easy as it sounds. It takes time to win. It takes the right person. But I'll say this. I know Zoe wants to chop in here. I believe this. I believe the presidents have a form of responsibility of not wanting. I think, listen, you guys know I get on McClellan as anybody else. But I do believe that the presidents have a part to play of his lack of transparency. I do believe that. I do believe that they like to keep stuff in-house and don't want stuff to get out. Does McClellan probably make the final say-so or whatever? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But I think they're in cahoots. I think it's all in the cahoots of not wanting that information to get out. What you got, Zoe?
I was going to say, he's totally wrong. Winning don't solve it all. Winning don't even solve half of it. I just gave you an example earlier. We just went 11-2 on the season and won a SWAC championship. We're averaging significantly less on the season than when we were 4-8 and led the nation in attendance. So winning don't fix everything.
Coach Pep, coming to you.
Hey, Zoe, you from Mississippi, right?
Yes, sir.
And all the high schools play at one venue.
Yes.
Who gets the proceeds from that venue?
MHSAA.
Southern Mississippi, the High School Association.
High School Association.
All right. You didn't answer my question. You didn't answer the question about the Celebration Bowl and the playoffs. They had a team in 1994, the Alcorn State Braves, the most watched team in FCS history. They didn't have a home game. They had to go on the road. They had Steve McNair, which went in the third player picked in the draft, and Heisman Trophy winner, Heisman Trophy candidate. He finished third. And the boy John Theory went ninth player in the draft, first round. And Alcorn didn't make no money off the playoffs. If they would have had the playoffs at Alcorn, they would have made money. And I guarantee you, Jackson State, with the Deion Sanders era, wouldn't have had a playoff in the Coliseum because they had a Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders. And the only way you're gonna make money off the playoffs is to have a home game. And that's why I think the SWAC chose to go to the Celebration Bowl rather than the playoffs, because they screwed him in the committee has always screwed the SWAC when it's come down to playoffs because they never gave them a home game.
Well, for starters, Alcorn did have a home game during McNair's senior season. But also when it comes down to the playoff game, Jackson State has hosted a playoff game before. The way the playoff game goes is that you have to put a bid in to host a playoff game. And just because you put a bid in doesn't mean that you're going to get awarded. So for an example, if Jackson State was going to, let's say there was no Celebration Bowl, we won the SWAC, we'll go to the playoffs. If we want to host the game to go to the playoffs, we have to put up, you know, whatever we put up, whether it's $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 to put a bid in to host the game. If we don't get awarded that game, you don't get your money back. That money's gone. That money's going to the NCAA. Secondly, if you do host that game, you don't get NCAA. If I have to check into it. I don't.
It's a percentage that you got to split your gate with.
But I think the percentage is, I want to say it's 55% of the gate. It's either 55% or 6% of the gate the NCAA keeps. So, and that's if you're the home team. That's if you're the home team. So you don't make money off of that. But here's the crazy part. If you're traveling on the road, all you get is an expense. All you get is an expense if you're traveling on the road in the playoff. I think they cover the travel. I don't think they cover the lodging.
They cover the travel.
They cover the travel, but not the lodging. So it's an expense either way it goes. So again, you're bleeding money by going to the playoffs. So yeah, I understand why we went to the Celebration Bowl. We're looking at the thing is we're looking at the best way to make money. What Scotty and I mentioned is you don't cut your nose off to spite the face. If you're making a decision because you're bleeding money, you don't just make a decision to not bleed money just to stop the bleeding. You make a decision to stop the bleeding, but then get an overflow of success to where I can benefit even more from it. So I don't want to make a little bit of money. I want to make a lot of money. You know, like, so for example, if you decide that you want to quit your job, you're getting paid right now, right? Yeah, you say, but I'm not getting paid enough money. You're not going to quit your job and go take another one. You know, just say, oh, I made 50 cents more. Because if you do make a decision, yeah, you can sit there and say, well, something's better than nothing, because, you know, we love to say that. So, yeah, it's 50 cents more, but then I guarantee you, once you accept that 50 cents more, at some point in time, your ass will get an itch and say, damn, I'm only making 50 cents more. I sure would like to make a whole $3 more than what I was making. Same analogy.
Hey, Scotty.
Yes, sir.
I seen the episode of you saying the Maccabi gonna go to Norfolk State. Yeah, I would rather for him to go to Bethune-Cookman. I'd take Ray Lewis at Florida A&M and Cam Newton at Alabama A&M.
That's tough, Coach Pep, but I appreciate the call. Listen, man, listen. I'm a celebrity guy. Like everybody know, I'm a celebrity guy. That was just some outrageous stuff right there. That's
you be fighting at Pee Wee games too.
Nah, you know what I'm saying? That's some. Yeah, that's different. JB, don't be long-winded, and then 7034 coming to you.
Thank you, Scotty. I promise not to be long-winded. I definitely enjoy the conversation as usual. I'm just going to make one point because you guys have pretty much hammered everything to death. Okay, we're talking about payouts. We're talking about everything else, but one conversation that we never hear in these things is about investment. How many of us, and let's be honest with ourselves here, and Scotty, you've heard me beat this a million times, you probably heard it as well, but we could saying you too. How many times do our schools talk about actually investing in the business of athletics? How many of our schools actually take the athletics portion seriously? Like, for example, do any of our schools have like athletic capital campaign fundraising activities? I mean, look, I get it. Celebration Bowl makes money. I get all those things, waiting for payouts, so I understand this. However, are we actually taking the time to treat the athletic department like a business and bring money into a school? For example, athletics as a gateway to the university. Now, for some of these folks, of course, y'all know that I'm pro playoffs all the way through. Now, there's a difference between lump sum and long-term gain. I live in Houston. When Sam Houston won that chip, guys, the money came flowing in. you had investors, you had everyone else pouring money into the programs. And so I think that before we talk about something not working and whatnot, let's be sure, and I'm going to be quick, let's be sure that we are doing our part to actually invest and to treat our athletics, give it the support that it very well deserves. And that's all I got.
Hey, appreciate it, JB. Good.
Thank you.
First things first, saying Sam Houston got all this money, Sam Houston does not have a football program that's funding its whole entire athletic department. When we make these statements, we have to remember, because I think we tend to lose this, it's not apples to apples. Sam Houston State in football is not operating under the guise like most all HBCUs.
Yeah.
Sam Houston football team pretty much funds football team. It's not funding the entire athletic department. So what they do and how they go about their financials when it comes to every decision that they make or every game that they play is not apples to apples. It simply isn't. So again, and then also what they lose, they're not losing like HBCU. HBCU will lose. Everything that we do, every decision that we make is ultra critical, because then you could have things where, oh, guess what? Because we did so horrible in football, we can't fly or even ride buses to a game. We got to rent a 15-passenger van.
Yikes.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't think people understand the guys are under which we work with. It's not apples to apples. And I'll say, I'll be quiet and give it to you, Scotty. So again, we can't operate in something that's going to lose money. Everything that happens in the HBCU sports, just keep it a book. Every molehill becomes a mountain. Seriously, everything is magnet, because I'm telling you, if football, okay, I'm not picking on, I'm just using an example. Why do you think Valley is in the shape that it's in? If Valley even have any type of substantial success, just 2 years, it would change the whole complexity of the school. But it's hard because they got a mountain on their back. That molehill I talked you about, it's a mountain now.
Yeah.
And it's hard to climb that mountain because these changes is killing them. So to your point, so we talk about that. Hell, Valley's never even won a SWAC championship. Not one. They've only been in contention one time, with Jerry Rice. One time. Once. That's not by happenstance. It ain't like they ain't trying. It's a reason why it's that way. I'm serious.
It's just the way you said it. Your way you just go ahead.
And I'm not picking on them. I'm using them as an example to the point that it was called. So the thing is, you got to understand. And so again, if Valley had, even Pine Bluff stuff, they'll be better off. And Pine Bluff is right there just above Valley.
Yeah.
So it ain't that. So again, the playoffs, look, let me just say this. If it was all equal and our finances were good, yeah, who wouldn't want to play off? I would love to go playoffs. I would love to have home. We used to do that in the 90s. Scotty, Jack State played Northwestern State, beat them. Played Stephen F. Austin, beat them, lost to them. I've been to these games. I've seen us play them.
Yeah.
It's changed. I would love to go to a playoffs. Even if they pushed it back after the Bayou Classic, in every school, the SWAC, there was no Celebration Bowl, and we can go to the playoffs, we all would love to see it, because we will all love to contend for a national championship. I remind you guys, when the shit was created, Jackson State played FAMU in the semifinal to go to the damn championship. We were doing that. Shit changed to ease us out of the fucking way, so we can't. And again, we got in our own way when it comes to resources and money, and then shit got tied. It is what it is. Again, so leave the players alone. We ain't making no money. We decided to go over here. Only thing me and Scotty saying is we over here. We want to make more goddamn money.
Make more money. Make more money. All right, last caller, 734, coming to you.
Congratulations, Zoe, on the season that you predicted. I think that hello?
Yeah, we here.
Yeah, you said y'all was gonna go 11-2, I believe, way back in August. Was it July or August when you said y'all was gonna do what y'all did?
Get to your point.
Oh no, I did a 1-900 number though.
See, you calling in with the wrong energy. You calling in with the wrong energy.
All right, here we go. Listen, I think this is a blessing in disguise as far as the SWAC is concerned. I think they need to strike while the iron is hot. First of all, the SWAC needs to sit back and evaluate their worth. Know your worth. And second of all, when when the commissioner goes in to negotiate, is he going in there by himself, or is there a team of people who knows about contract negotiation, attorneys, and this type of thing? But he's just kind of going there. They just telling them anything.
So
that would be the.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you what I have heard through the grapevine. Okay, I'm gonna just tell you what I heard through the grapevine. It can be true, it cannot be true, but I'm just telling you what I heard, and I've heard it from a few people, just a few, more than 2, less than 4. So what I've been told is that what I've been told is this: he does go into these meetings. He does not have he has a lawyer. He goes into these meetings. He does not have a media guide, like a media consultant.
Yeah.
The consultant that he does use is a professor at a local HBCU. Now, listen, you take what you want from that. I think that this is my issue, right? And it's a consultant to where it's like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. And what do you think about that? Is it a good deal? Blah, blah, blah. Because if anybody remembers, that same person said he helped with the ESPN deal, and the ESPN deal was trash. So I'm just leave it. I ain't gonna put no names in it. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. So I think going forward, you have to either use I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think the CAA had a company that went on their behalf to negotiate their deal with Flow Sports. I'm not saying you got to go to that extent, but I do.
We need to, though.
No, and the reason I say that is because I don't know, because sometimes you can't. Sometimes you don't. If you go with you don't know if they really know, because you want somebody who understands your market, and you want somebody who understands the audience. Like if I get a manager and he doesn't understand what OFFSCRIPT is, how can you promote me? How can you market me if you don't really understand what you're doing? So I think you got to go with the right person that understands your market, understands how to get value out of what you do, and then go from there. I listen. I know somebody said this. I wouldn't be mad if the SWAC partnered with Smack Entertainment, the white lady that helped with Dion. I wouldn't be mad at that because they were in the space. She understands the space. They marketed the space really well and got up out of it. And Michael Strahan is also a part of that as well. So Texas Southern Connection ties and stuff like that. So, just maybe a little something like that. But I do believe he needs to go in with a media consultant. I don't know who that might be, but it needs to be somebody. I know there's people from HBCUs who are in the media space if you want to do that way as a consultant, but yeah.
And that's what I was thinking. There's too many HBCU grads who have these high up in these media companies who understands contracts and negotiations and all this stuff. Surely he can kind of pull on their coattails. It's like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Well, how do you think I should attack this? Because we want to get the most bang for our bucks. But I think you're absolutely right. They need to do that. And a couple of more things, Scotty. I know you got to go.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
Now, Scotty, check this out, man. Listen. If my cousin and his cousin who took his girlfriend can make up, surely you and the JSU can smoke a blunt, hit some cognac, do something, man. And get this thing back on track,
sitting?
Because
I am literally doing a whole show with one of the biggest JSU supporters in America.
I know, but my point is, don't leave the SWAC, baby. The game needs you, baby. We need you, baby. Don't leave the SWAC, baby. We need you. Look, it's 7 days in a week. You can cover them other folks 3 days, and you can do your HBCU thing. You can do the JSU show, the FAMU show, and the Southern show. Now, each one of them shows you can talk about their schools and do a little sprinkle of SWAC/MEAC. So that way you can have your cake, your pie, your ice cream, your tea, your lemonade, and all that, brother. That's all I'm saying, baby. The game needs you. Doc, don't leave us, baby. We need you.
He giving it up. He said he wants some coleslaw and carrot and raisin souffle.
I'm not mad at a pumpkin pie. I'm not mad at pumpkin pie. You know what I'm saying? It's not that bad. You know what I'm saying?
Your nose just got thinner.
Hey, man, appreciate the call, though. Thank you so much. Y'all, boy, y'all funny. Yeah, man, it was funny. This man said smoke a blunt. I don't even smoke. Anyway. But overall, though, I know we talked about the deals and the ESPN stuff, and and that's what the conversation started. And we both see it as a blessing in disguise. I think, again, just because your girlfriend breaks up with you doesn't mean that wasn't a blessing, right? Like, it's just like you thought the relationship was good, but it was really toxic, and she breaks up with you and you hurt, but you really find out that you needed to separate, right? And I think that's where ESPN and the SWAC are at right here, right now, is ESPN's like, yeah, I don't think we should keep doing this. And the SWAC's like, please, no, don't go. But I think once you get out in the free market and you start seeing that there's some girls out there that really like you.
Hey, but I like that analogy because guess what? If you go out here and do your own thing and you start to boss up, they always tend to come back.
And now you got what? I got leverage. Okay, you got leverage.
Just saying.
You know what I'm saying? So that is what it is. But I do believe that the commissioner needs to come in with a premise of I'm sorry, you guys can say whatever you want. I believe his legacy is on the line. Now, I'm not gonna take anything away from McClellan and what in getting the SWAC from being the red to being in the black. Congratulations, you did your job. I'm not gonna take nothing away from that, right? That's a big accomplishment. The schools were paying the SWAC. Now the SWAC is paying the schools. That is a feat. That is an accomplishment. I will give him that. I'm not taking anything away from that. But your legacy and where this conference could go and where it could go and in the places that you're trying to take it to, that you talk about so all the time about FBS this, FBS that, I think it has a link. It has to be linked with this TV deal. Last point is over to you.
I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna tell you something that my girl told me. Right? And, you just use the analogy. For all the good that you've done, you can't hang your hat on it because you could do something good 3 months ago, do something horrible today. It's not a football game. These aren't certain penalties. I'm serious. So you should be commended, right? For what he did. To me, he's done a good job. But again, if you drop the ball on this, it'll negate everything that you've done because people only remember the last thing you've done. Absolutely. You see what I'm saying? And that's the thing about it. And it is a pivotal time. And I think that, I agree with you. This is going to have an impact because don't take that statement as a negative thing. When we say it can impact him, he can go to a whole new height.
Absolutely. He could be the best commissioner that the SWAC has ever had. That's what I'm saying. It's a legacy thing. Yeah.
And that's the thing, people, because I want to say that because people tend to think when they say it, you're thinking negative. Like, no, it's at an impasse right now. It could do this or it can do this. It could, let's say he does this and it's a transformational thing. Now it only maximizes the fact that you got him out the red to the black. You see what I'm saying? Because now when I look from where I came, you did this and this and this and this. Now you're way up here. And then everybody's thriving and you've done something that nobody foresaw. So again, it's a transformational time right now. I just hope everything goes away and we're cruising at high altitude.
And I'll say this. I don't think there's a lot of commissioners that are going to be in place to, again, how I feel, I think Ashley Robinson should be the SWAC commissioner. I've said that on numerous occasions, and I believe that wholeheartedly because of his innovation and his willing to think outside the box. That's just even there. But what I have seen accustomed to doing at people getting in the commissioner spot is a lot of times they just roll over what the last guy did, right? It's just a lot of it, just status quo. I'm getting paid $300,000, $200,000. I'm gonna get my money. I'm gonna get my check, and I'm gone. That's why I think this is so important because you could literally start a process that does not change for the next 10 to 15 years. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I keep saying this is so implement to his legacy because you could get into a deal that is so bad that it impacts the conference for the next 10, 15 years. Or you can get into a deal so good that it impacts the SWAC for the next 10 to 15 years. So that's why I'm saying it. So I don't want anybody to think that my thought process is that he's going to do a bad deal. Yeah. I hope he does not. And I hope he gets the right people around him to put him in a good situation. And people talking about Byron Allen, be very careful. I'm telling you, Byron Allen will get you in the fine print. That is the problem with a Byron Allen deal. Byron Allen got them P. Diddy deals, them bad boy deals, right? It's the fine print that will get you. And you have to be very mindful of the fine print in the deal, because what a lot of people do not know is Byron Allen has an opt-out every year in the contract, penalty free. So in a 10-year contract, he can opt out in any year. Now, I got that from some word. I got that from a buyer, somebody who knows Byron Allen directly, and he told me to, but it's all hearsay. It's all hearsay. Word on the street. You know what I'm saying? Anything last thing before we go, Zoe?
I got one thing to say.
Oh God.
The champions in the building, baby. 2024 SWAC champs, baby. How about them Tigers?
This is my time, man.
hey, if Vinny Jackson is in the chat, who got it better than us? Nobody. We get it like that, baby. Woo! Hey, man, I need to get a 1-900 number, dog. Because I called that thing spot on, dog.
You did. You did. You did. I gotta give you that, Miss Cleo.
Even the losses outside of ULM. I told you, I said Grambling.
Oh, yeah. You definitely didn't pick no ULM.
I did. I said Grambling.
Yeah, you said Grambling. Okay. Oh, you said something about that hole. That's what you said. It said something about that hole.
Oh, no, did it. No, did it. Woo,
I didn't even register. I was like, what? Oh, did he? What?
No, did it.
Listen. I'm sorry. Give me some time. Give me some time. Listen. Y'all know what I was referring to. Come on, man. Stop. He said Grambling.
Just in case. I know. Hey, people do this stuff on this video, dog. I'm about to say, no, did it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Hey, listen. I appreciate you so for chopping in with me, man. Listen, until next time, you know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna holler. God bless. That was funny. That was really funny. Something wrong with you. Something is wrong with you.
You said it.